And we'd like to welcome those of you who are joining us now. We just watched Tulsa defeat Rice by 28-24. Bob Stoops and the Sooners at home. The last time they played at home, don't forget, 24-19 loss, and that's rare when you consider they took a 39-game home winning streak towards the end of last season.
And that was against Kansas State, where they had the turnover in their own end zone, gave the Jayhawks a touchdown. Blake Bell fumble going in on the Belldozer formation. They gave it away.
Tressway kicks it away, and it's going to be brought back. Harmony bobbles it up to the 5. See you later. To the 7, maybe the 8, and that is it. An ominous beginning for the Jayhawks. We check in with the third member of our team, Jim Knox. Jim.
All right, thanks, Joe. I tell you what, a lot of concern by some Oklahoma fans. Well, after the big game against Texas last week, will there be a letdown? Not so. You look at the Bob Stoop era, the game after the Texas Longhorns, they're 13-0. And guys, looking at the Longhorns as far as they're out from last week, but looking at the Sooners tonight, they came ready to play.
All right, Jim, thank you. And boy, were they ready to play the Cotton Bowl. 36 points in the first half last week against the quality opponent. It'll be Sims in the backfield, and Michael Cummings, the starting quarterback tonight, is James Sims, coming off a career best last week on the ground. Battles for about 5, almost 6, and he is our Academy Sports Right Stuff player to take some heat off the redshirt freshman.
You're right, Joe, and he should be, because last week a career day, 27 rushes, 138 yards, career highs in both categories, and he really carried this team, and they become a very good and talented running football team.
They'll keep it on the ground. It seems again. Man, he didn't turn the corner that time. The free safety who leads the Sooners in tackles made that stop, Tony Jefferson.
Every time I put on an Oklahoma tape, all I see is Tony Jefferson everywhere. You want to find where the ball is at the end of the play, Tony Jefferson will be there. The free safety, played some corner last year, has got linebacking skills about coming up and making initial contact. Extremely talented.
It'll be 3rd and short, and a false start. So bad beginning field position, and then the false start coming up.
False start, number 29 offense. 5-yard penalty, 3rd down.
Running back James Sims. Now it's noisy here. This, as I said, this is one of the great home field advantages. And Charlie Weiss, well, he's just taken up with the program, but he's trying to snap a 15-game conference road losing streak.
Yeah, I mean, there's a lot of negativity, a lot of losing surrounding the organization, but they have improved defensively. They're taking the ball away better. They've kept the score down so far this season.
And now a 3rd and long for Michael Cummings. Got the time, and he's got a bullet to KO pick for a 1st down. It's just beyond the 20 in front of the corner. DeMontre Hurst, a senior, Lancaster, Texas.
Well, watch the throw here by Michael Cummings. I mean, he knows exactly where he wants to go with the ball. He's got a big arm, really steps into that throw. You know, even though that Hurst is right there, I mean, Cummings put it there before the defender could get there.
And Cummings with time, spinning away. Nope, he won't get away. Outstanding play. And the stop made up front by Ndule.
Cummings is going to get outside the pocket here. Just a little play action fake. He's going to get a little semi-roll. And they took away his receiver on that play, Omiji. Really had no other place to go with it. Tried to make a little move in front of Ndule, but he couldn't do it.
Yeah, they call him on an outside man. He's like a linebacker. Sims nowhere to go and made the most of it. Roadblock, and then got about 3. And Ndule once again, the sophomore from Dallas, who played as a redshirt freshman last year. First year's a full-time starter.
Well, their defensive ends stand up. See, here's King. If there's a no tight end right here, he's going to stand up, and he's going to play an outside linebacker. If there's a tight end in front of him, then they'll put their hand on the ground and play like a defensive end.
Well, they open in a 4-2-5. So they open with a nickel anyway, and now that nickel comes into play in a 3rd and long once again for Michael Cummings. Redshirt freshman from Killeen, Texas, at 5'10", 200 pounds. Here comes the heat. And now will they run for it? He's got the 1st down across the 30. And he was, boy, was he aware of the line of scrimmage, because he was a yard shy going over it.
You saw that, Joe, all the way up here. Nice job of rolling to his left and really putting some pressure on the defense. He's going to fake it in the backfield right here. Looks right. Now he comes left away from the pressure. Nice job of just dumping it off like a good point guard would.
So the completion for the 1st down to the 31. Sims. No. It'll be Cummings for a yard, and that is it. And Dule again. Boy, has he been involved up front.
Well, he has, but you know, Kansas here, you know, so far this year, they're going no huddle right now. They're trying to up the tempo here, so Oklahoma can't really, you know, change personnel, but they've been good on their opening drives. We saw them last week against Oklahoma State. They didn't score on the drive, but they consumed a lot of time.
Sims again. Yeah, broke the initial tackle of Corey Nelson, dropped by Casey Walker. Well, we saw those numbers on the first drive. We don't show you the second and third drives of the game. That's where they need some help.
Well, I think they script the plays pretty well to start with. Play gets in quickly. They haven't been beating themselves with negative plays in their opening drive. So the execution has been there.
And Cummings hasn't been rattled, converting both third downs.
See if Oklahoma comes with any kind of pressure here. They've been playing just four-man rush, and they do again.
Out in the flat, too tall for Sims. And that'll do it for the drive. But they got out of their own about 10-yard line. Started with the ball to the 8. Corey Nelson on the coverage. And then the heat as well.
Well, that's the matchup they tried to get. They tried to get Sims on a little swing route against Corey Nelson, the outside linebacker. And the coverage was good, but the throw was high. So a couple of first downs, get him out of that bad field position here.
Justin Brown, 10th in the nation with a 16-yard average. Waiting for the Ron Doherty punt. No pressure. And a pretty good one by Doherty. Over the shoulder. It's Brown from about the 10. And breaking tackles across the 25. Good return of about 18 yards up to the 28. So Justin Brown setting up the Sooners in good field position as the number 9 team in the nation at home, getting it for the first time when we come back. There's nothing quite like a football game in Norman, Oklahoma. And welcome back once again, and especially with the weather we got. It was almost 80 degrees this afternoon.
Not a cloud in the sky.
Landry Jones, a record of 33-9 as the starting quarterback. So this is his 43rd start for the Sooners. Now, little dump off. It goes out to Damian Williams. And a flag on the play as Williams is bounced out of bounds. Second in the Big 12 in rushing. He's knocked out by Greg Brown. Greg Burks is our referee from the Big 12 tonight.
Offside, number 90, defense, 5-yard penalty, first down.
That's Kevin Young, junior from Olathe, Kansas, Academy Sports, right stuff player. And what a start to a Sooner career for Damian Williams.
Well, he had his career high here at OU last week in the UT game. He went for 167 yards, 95 out of it on one run, and really broke the game open in the first quarter. He is an all-purpose back. He's got great hands. He can do it all, and I think he's only going to get a lot better.
He's going to get plenty of touches tonight, at least in the first half. We don't know if we'll see him in the second half if he gets away. Landry Jones for single coverage on the outside. It's complete to Justin Brown, big receiver out of Penn State. When we talked to the coaches about Justin Brown, he came in 3 days after they had already started their fall camp, and it was like he just arrived and he was a pro about everything, like he knew what they wanted.
And he also is their biggest receiver, and he's just a huge target in the red zone and quickly becoming one of Landry's favorites.
Grab is made out there. It's Jalen Saunders, another transfer from Fresno State.
Yeah, I mean, this wide receiving core didn't look real healthy and real experienced in the spring, but 2 transfers in Saunders and Brown, along with an emerging Sterling Shepard. It's a pretty talented group to go with Kenny Stills.
It'll be 2nd and 6. Started the motion. Damian Williams unaccounted for. He's got the first down. Great hands, and they just want to get him touches because of the big play capability that he has, and you talked about.
Well, they're flooding one side of the field now. Okay, so now when Damian Williams goes to the left there's 4 receivers, only 3 defenders. And so the defenders are all expanding with the receivers. And now here comes Damian Williams one-on-one on the outside against a really good player. And Bradley McDougal gets him down, but not after the first down.
So it started back at the Sooners 28. 90 seconds later, they're at the Jayhawks 35. Trey Miller out in the flat again. Nobody at home. And he's got a first down inside the 25. And boy, he's made some grabs. 5 catches last week for this young man for 119 yards.
He's not your every down fullback now. I mean, this is an all-purpose back. He can run it. He's a great receiver. He's a good blocker. He's got some girth to him now. He's 255 pounds, and you know he's low to the ground. I mean, he's hard to knock off his feet. He's really a huge part of this offense.
Frees the defense when he gets him up to the line before the play call. Middle of the field. Miller drops it. It was a touchdown for the junior from Columbia, Missouri. And you know Landry Jones wanted it because we're getting close to the bulldozer territory.
Well, here he is. He's just coming right down the seam, and nobody picks him up. All right, so Brad Heaney is the middle linebacker. He misses him, and he's just too open. He took his eyes off to see if any safety was coming to hit him. He would have walked into the end zone had he held on to it.
A little bit behind him, but catch it.
Yeah.
With your hands.
It just mitts like this. You just squeeze it. They can't all be perfect.
The give over to the left side. Man, it's Miller just plugging his way inside the 20 down to the 19. You talked about a guy that was first team all Big 12 last year and what he can bring to you, the multi-dimensional aspect of his game.
Well, he had 164 all-purpose yards last week in that blowout win against Texas. So off the field now, but a huge contributor in so many different ways.
First third down of the game for the Sooners. Third
guy
about 5.
Here, Kenny Stills. Their leading receiver. Play outside or inside.
Pocket holds up well for Landry Jones and then throws a bad ball to Justin Brown. Justin, coming in, and the ball was going the other way.
Yeah, I mean, Landry's throwing it one way, and Justin Brown's running the other way. They've got him wide open now. I mean, it's just a flat route. You can see him standing Stoke Jayhawk around him.
But as you said, Kenny Stills is the only guy he's got a real relationship with. They don't have that many reps together.
Well, they're developing. They're developing these relationships. That's why every one of these games is so important.
Michael Honeycutt has spoiled him around here. 7 of 8 this year. Career 28 of 32. Just a sophomore. And now the 37-yarder, and the Sooners are on the board. So the drive stalls on a 3rd and 5 at about the 20-yard line, but still points on their opening possession of the game with 7:41 left. The opening 15 minutes of play. Number 9 Sooners up by 3. They do a little bit of everything around here in Norman, Oklahoma. Acrobatic and man.
That's a skill set you don't see very often.
Getting dizzy watching him.
Me too.
You got any Dramamine?
Head is spinning. He's got a camera there just in case he gets a good look.
That's an Oakley or a Ray-Ban spot too. Ultimate scoring drive for Oklahoma. 8 plays covering 53. And the 37-yard field goal by Honeycutt. Man, Honeycutt, we barely got to set him when he came onto the field. The sophomore from Richardson, Texas, is some kind of weapon. Now, the Honeycutt does not kick off, as they'll have Tress Way and Nick Hodgson actually right now. Tress Way has in the past. Nick Hodgson will kick it off. And a 3-0 lead early for the Sooners. Parmalee and Taylor Cox way back, just about halfway through the first quarter of play. Great set.
They're all up on their feet too.
This stadium.
Crimson and green.
They'll keep it on the ground basically. Man, it'll be corralled by Trey Parmalee. Bernie's son over to the left side. And boy, chasing him down, and what a play by Jaden Bird. They have a little speed out there.
Well, I mean, it shows up on special teams too, Joel. Their special teams are excellent. I mean, the punting, the kicking, the execution, the coverage, it's all there.
Now, the first drive, we were kind of surprised. And you see, 3 is not a charm when it comes to the Kansas Jayhawks with all these losing streaks. The longest in college football when it comes to conference opponents. 15 straight on the road, 15 straight against FBS opposition. That's the second longest in the nation. But can you tell me why they went hurry up?
I would think that you would try to take as much air out of the ball as possible and shorten the game.
Cummings with a nifty play across the 20. It's a game of keep away if you're Kansas, isn't it?
Well, I mean, the last thing you want to do is play fast break football with Oklahoma. That's what they do best. And so here, I mean, this is just a nice play. They spread it out, 5 receivers, put it in Cummings' hands. It's interesting. Charlie told us before the Oklahoma State game last week that he didn't think that Michael Cummings was much of a runner. what we've seen otherwise here in the last 2 weeks.
They need 2, and Sims gets a lot more than 2, spinning his way to the first down out to the 28. So field position does not help Kansas. First 2 drives of this game, special teams involved.
It isn't, but down on the field right now is they've got a good offensive line. That's the center, Marangelli, who it all starts with. They got a lot of seniors up front, and he's indispensable.
Yeah, he's a 3-year starter, anchors the middle, and a lot of concern right now for the Jayhawks and their fans with Marangelli being looked at here in Norman, Oklahoma.
Yeah, watch out a little bit. Thank you. I'm trying to figure out.
Back here with the Jayhawks, and Trevor Marangelli here is going to be double teaming with his right guard up until the middle linebacker, Tom Ward. And it's a good block right here, and Sims is in good shape, but he gets rolled right up on by a defensive lineman in Dule. And as a result, Dylan Admire, Richard freshman, into playing center.
Never saw it coming. Now a little quarterback action, and Cummings can't turn the corner. It's Tony Jefferson. Speed and their safeties, and we talked to Mike Stoops about it. Their safeties are to the line of scrimmage to begin with. Let's check in with Jim Knox. Jim.
The good news is Trevor Marangelli will be back in very shortly. They looked at his right ankle. Everything is fine. He'll be back in. Marangelli will be back in after this play.
All right, good news. Thank you. Great news for the Jayhawks. Admire is the redshirt freshman who's taken over. Sims, he will beat the man to the corner and breaks the tackle for the first down across the 40. He's pulled down by Jefferson and Harris, but he got to the secondary, and he got away from Ndule at the last second.
Well, I mean, here comes Sims underneath on the underneath handoff, and he picks up a good block on the outside. The receivers are blocking. Kale Pick with a good block. And one thing I've seen from Sims now the last 2 weeks is he breaks a lot of tackles. He's got good balance. Arm tackles aren't bringing him down.
It's a first down. Sims, maybe a yard as they push him back. R.J. Washington in on this hit, the senior from Fort Worth. Well, Sims, you mentioned what he did last week, and he's only been active now for 3 games. He missed the first 3, suspended. He had an offseason problem with DUI and was suspended for the first 3 games of the season.
What did Charlie say about him last week? He had a good day at the office. You know, that's always a good compliment in football terms.
2nd and 9. Sims again waiting for the alley. And boy, does he take a shoulder from Jefferson.
That's Jefferson now. I'm telling you, you look at the end of the play and see where number 1 is for Oklahoma. I asked Bobby Stoops, is he a linebacker playing safety? He goes, hey, he reads his keys, and he does. He sees the ball, comes out of nowhere. Look at that shot. He runs right through Sims.
Form?
Yeah. Good.
Just textbook.
Like, that's how he hits now. I mean, he's the best free safety I've seen in college football right now.
It's 3rd and 5. Good pocket protection. Cummings. He's in trouble. Out of the pocket, will throw it away. Had a good decision. He was outside of the tackle box after spinning over. And Harris, a strong safety on the coverage.
Well, he can rescue some plays. Now, you know, right now, Kansas is down a lot of players. We haven't seen Tony Pearson at all. Probably their best all-around player. Damon Patterson had a concussion last week. May not see him. They're down quite a few players. DJ Bashir's out today.
Out for the season with a broken bone in his shoulder. Dougherty punts it away once again to Justin Brown. Better hang time. And Brown calling for the fair catch. Will take it back at the 13. So the Sooners impressive on their opening drive, but they stalled inside the 20 of the Jayhawks. See what they do. Field position not on their side for their 2nd series of the game, though, with 4:47 left in the first quarter.
Coors Light says don't get flagged for breaking the law. It's a cold, hard fact. 21 means 21. So keep yourself and your friends in the game.
Bob Stoops and the Sooners get the ball back for the 2nd time, and welcome back to Norman, Oklahoma. His 14th year, and boy, what a successful run, and especially at home when you consider he's only lost 4 games in this ballpark. 78-4 in 82 home games here in Norman. Hard to believe numbers.
And his brother's back with him, Mike from the University of Arizona. I think the defense is a lot better as a result.
Kenny Stills has it on the quick one. have about a 5-6 yard cushion on the outside, and they'll take 5 or 6 yards.
And, you know, Bobby talked a lot about, you know, this being, is this a trap game? You know, Jim Knox addressed it before the game with Notre Dame coming in here next week, undefeated. Would they look ahead? Would they be prepared this week? I think he really likes this team because they like to play. And I don't think they're looking ahead. I think the guys here tonight are concentrating on Kansas and not looking into next week.
So 2nd and 5. Get back to that thought in just a moment. Blitz coming off the edge. Jones out there. He's got another one, and a big one this time. Going down the sideline, Jalen Saunders. So the big gain as the defensive back was kind of caught in no man's land in front of the wide receiver.
Well, here's Saunders out the outside. And really, Landry Jones does a good job of buying some time. And he puts it right on Saunders.
Puts it right to Kenny Stills, right at the first down marker. So all of a sudden it's speed. The tempo is picking up for the Oklahoma Sooners.
And really what you see is Landry Jones can make all the throws. I mean, that throw on a short bootleg to his left, I mean, he can really, what we call, spin the ball. The ball comes out hot, it spins, he's got a good release, and it gets there in a hurry.
He got 33 wins as a starter, most in Sooner history, just past Steve Davis as the winningest quarterback at Oklahoma. And after the play fake, he's got all day. Floats it for Stills, got a step. Touchdown, Oklahoma!
It was a perfect throw against Ja'Cory Shepard, the defensive back, and he put it right in the breadbasket of Kenny Stills. And I talked to Stills before the game. I said, are you just going to be a slot receiver in this offense? He goes, no, we've got some stuff for me on the outside. And he runs a double move on Shepard. Look at his throw. Right, it was just right to the post, right?
Dropped it over the top.
Oh, beautiful throw. Nothing like the long bomb in football at any level.
I said to Dave Campbell earlier this week, the defensive coordinator for Kansas, he got a Sunday arm. He goes, oh, he's got a Sunday arm.
Yeah, we know what that means. He's in good company now. We're going to take a good long look at him in the offseason.
Money cut for the point after. And 10 on the board for the Sooners. Well, we're a little more than 11 minutes into the game. And 10 points already. Kenny Stills from Southern California with the last one.
Oh, that's beautiful. Beautiful concentration. The throw was perfect. Look at his coverage. From the backside, you're like, can Shepard get there? Can he get any closer to him? I mean, there's just no separation between the two, but the throw beat excellent coverage by Shepard.
So often we talk about quarterbacks that don't drop it in over the top. Everything's kind of a rope, a line drive.
Well, what did we just see in that last series? We saw him roll out, buy time, stick it to Saunders on the outside. We saw him bootleg, go to his left, stick it to Stills on the outside. Then he goes up top and he throws, you know, the long post route there on a double move to Stills. We saw all the throws by Landry Jones, and it's amazing. In this storied program here in Norman, he is the winningest all-time quarterback.
So much for field position.
It doesn't matter.
4 plays, 87 yards, and it took a long time too, 58 seconds.
Yeah, well, last week they had the ball, you know, on 2nd down at their 5, and, you know, Damian Williams went 95 yards. I mean, they can strike, and they strike fear from anywhere.
Hudson will kick it away. He may get a lot of activity. 3:49 left in the opening 15 minutes.
This is a team that is just getting better and better, and I think that Kansas State game a couple of weeks ago, 3 weeks ago, humbled everybody, and I think they've got steely-eyed focus in this program.
The liner is picked up by Trey Parmalee. And should be able to return this one, and does. Across the 25, pass field position for the Jayhawks to start a drive. As they'll have it out of their own 28-yard line. It's the experts out of high school in 2008. Terrell Pryor, Manuel, Florida State, and Dane Christ was selected as the 3rd best quarterback coming out. Landry Jones, number 6.
At Artesia, New Mexico. A little small town. Kind of proved a lot of people wrong so far. Andrew Luck, obviously having his way right now with Indianapolis. Blaine Gabbert down in Jacksonville. Pretty good recruiting class.
So now Christ with Pearson. In his last week's game with the elbow injury, A little stutter step, and he did not run his blocking. He waited for it. Across the 38 to the 40, gets 12 for a first down, dropped by David King.
Well, you see that left elbow is in a heavy brace. That elbow was dislocated 2 weeks ago. This is his first carry now, and first time he's touched it in 2 weeks. And he's got to put it in the right arm. Even though he wants to put it in the left to protect it, he can't, because he doesn't trust that he can grip it in that left arm held together by a brace right now.
Tony Pearson, best running back coming out of the high school ranks in St. Louis 2 years ago. Sophomore gets it again. And as you mentioned, coming up on the secondary, man, is he a heat-seeking missile? Tony Jefferson takes care of it.
Well, you know, he reads his keys so quickly. So even though he's 10 yards deep from the safety position, once he sees that ball tossed, the pass is out. Now it's a dead sprint. Now, what's the best angle I can get to the ball? That's what Jefferson does well.
It'll be second and long. So Jefferson leading the Sooners in tackles. He's a free safety from Southern California. Harris, the strong safety out of Lawton. He is second in the squad. And it's going to be Pearson again. Not much available. Squirting his way up the middle for about 3 to the 44. Dropped by Jamarcus McFarland.
I see that Trevor Marangelli's back in there at center. Remember, he got rolled up in the last series. So it's good to see the senior back in there. And this has been a good offensive line. They have run the ball. They have controlled the line of scrimmage in most of the games this year. They've had 3 different running backs go over 100 yards. Obviously, we said that both quarterbacks would play. This is what you want Dane Christ in there for. Convert this third down throw.
It's third and about 6. Kansas hit their first 2 third downs. They've missed on their last 2. Pocket protection for Chris. And floats it up and out of the reach of his tight end, Jimmy Mundine. So Jimmy Mundine covered very well by Ebole.
Well, Mundine caught a touchdown pass last week, and he's just going to run a wheel route on the outside. So he goes out, and then he comes up. And you can see that Chris took a hit that time from Aaron Franklin. I don't know. To me, that looks very much like interference. I mean, you know,
never turned around.
Yeah. I mean, it's, you can face guard. You can't make contact like that. I think they missed a blatant pass interference call.
Doherty punting once again, and a real good one. Justin Brown will take it and puts it on the ground. It's loose at about the 11. I think the Jayhawks get it. Yes, they do.
That is their 15th takeaway this season. 8th fumble recovery.
If they've got it, yes, they've got it.
Do. So maybe after they missed the pass interference call, maybe that's the way it should work in the football world, that they get it back.
Victor Simmons on top of the football.
And Justin Brown took his eyes off it. Took his eyes off it, and Ford hit him just as he released it.
So now the Jayhawks at the Oklahoma 11. Can they capitalize?
They stay with Chris at quarterback.
Sims is taken over in the backfield. Chris after a beautiful pay fake. It's Parmalee for a low throw. And he had him wide open. Man, oh man, if he could have put him in a position to succeed.
But that's the issue. That's the perfect play that time to Parmalee, because he comes on the ghost motion, the reverse, and he's completing less than 50% of his passes. And if he completes this pass in stride, all right, Parmalee's going to come on the reverse. And nobody's going to cover him. He's all alone on the outside, and he bounced that ball off the turf. And accuracy is Dane Chris' issue. Nobody can really figure out right now, but he missed a wide-open Parmalee.
Cummings back into the game. So a disappointing first down. Now Cummings, middle of the field, had picked, and it's pick all of a sudden turned into a defensive back. He poked it away. Jefferson was there. Pick was available early. He came late.
Well, it was good play action. They held the linebackers. The protection was very good, but they really converged on the ball. Nice job by Javon Harris on the backside there. Not a lot of room to drop that ball in. Look at that hang time by Javon Harris. What an athlete he is.
Now, how tough is this going to be for quarterbacks? Christ is back into the game on third down.
Well, you know, the one thing that Michael Cummings is, he's 5'10", and it's hard to see over the trees inside in this situation.
On third down, Christ in trouble. In big trouble. Loses the football. Picking it up. It's Casey Walker. Walker time him down the sideline. And he's got it inside the 30 to the 28. So no points for the Jayhawks as the Sooners defense comes up big.
That was just a huge turnaround on that play. Kansas with a chance to at least get 3. And really, this is just careless. This is not what you would expect from a fifth-year senior. All right, he gets out right now. He's just careless with the ball. Great hit on him to knock it loose. And here comes the convoy picking it up. Wart leading the way, and Washington. And Casey Walker probably glad that he ran those extra wind sprints this week to get that far down the field.
He thinks he's at 4,500 feet right now. What an experience for him. Casey Walker coming up with the loose ball. He's a senior from Garland, Texas. And now they'll review the play.
Yeah.
Ruling on the field was a fumble recovered by Oklahoma. Play is under further review.
It looked that way from here.
Was the arm going forward?
Right. Well, is it the tuck rule?
Well, I mean, Charlie was there. Charlie was there in New England
right.
against the Oakland Raiders in that playoff game when Tom Brady fumbled the ball and then it came back.
Ooh.
Now that's no, is he going to put it away, or is the arm going forward? It looks to me like he's trying to protect the ball here and he's pulling it into himself.
But you've got to throw it away.
Yeah.
That's the key.
He's outside
when you're
the pocket.
a senior.
Just get rid of it. That's what you want from a fifth-year senior, that kind of experience. We showed that he was in that class of 2008, highly recruited high school quarterbacks coming out, along with Landry Jones and Gabbard and Luck and Manuel. You expect all that experience to come in that situation.
It looked like a fumble.
Yeah.
Greg Burks.
After further review, the ruling on the field is confirmed. First down, Oklahoma.
So the Sooners now with the ball in Jayhawks territory. Well, let's check in with Jim Knox. Jim.
Joe, looking at Casey Walker, number 53, just returned that fumble. I tell you what, get him some oxygen.
Some
He's
water.
been down in plenty of water. He needs oxygen over here, guys.
Well, they list him, Jim, at 310.
Is that before the pregame meal?
He's 310. I'm 150.
Is that before the pregame meal?
From the 28, Williams weaving his way. Decent yardage for about 5. Inside the 24 to the 23. Hudson Thorpe brings him down.
But you can't put into terms just how costly that turnover is. Kansas got it on the muff pump by Justin Brown. Chris knows they got a chance to keep this game close right here. They've got all these streaks going against them right now. 15 road games, 15 conference games losing in a row. Trying to break that, you just can't give up that kind of a play.
Start Williams in motion. Throw underneath. And it's Justin Brown for a first down on what should be the final play of the first quarter. Running backs always tell you they need touches, reps to get a rhythm. I would imagine quarterbacks have to feel the same way under center to get that kind of rhythm in a game, as opposed to what we saw on that first and 10 from the 11. We'll talk about it when we come back.
Cummings out, yeah.
So a good start for the Sooners. It looked like it was going to be a break for the Jayhawks. Didn't turn out that way, did it? Sooners by 10 after 15 minutes of play in Norman. Welcome back once again to Norman, Oklahoma. Joel Myers, Brian Baldinger, and Jim Knox. And if you love college football, this is one of the must-do things on your list. You have to see a game in Norman.
Put it on the bucket list. Because whether it's college football or anything else, this is some place to be here in Norman, Oklahoma. First time I've been here, and I've enjoyed it.
It's Williams on first down. The first snap of the second quarter for about 2.
Darrell Williams.
Down to the 12.
Darrell Williams got to come out, obviously, with the helmet off. It happened to him last week early in the game. He goes out at right tackle. They're a little thin on the offensive line. It's one of the areas that they're trying to shore up here. Little switch right now.
Right. Lane Johnson's moving over there.
Yeah, he goes from left tackle over to right tackle.
They bring in Tyrus Thompson, sophomore of the left. Freeze the defense. Get the signals on the snap. The out. Kenny Skill. Little guy goes up, brings it in to about the 7. He's short by 3 for the first down in front of Bradley McDougal.
So I talked to Kenny Stills for a little bit before the game, and I asked him what he thought of the wide receiving core after you know, Ryan Broyles leaves to get drafted by the Detroit Lions and some injuries and what he thought in the spring, and then all of a sudden all the guys are here now, and he helped recruit most of them. Of course, this is the big switch. Blake Bell comes in here.
Big is the key word.
Yeah, 255 pounds, and this is their Belldozer package. 2 fullbacks, an extra offensive lineman in there.
And he's 6'6".
Yeah.
255, 6'6".
With great bloodlines.
We'll take a timeout. We'll talk about that. I feel like we're talking about thoroughbred racing. Bloodlines when we come back to Norman, Oklahoma.
Set it up.
Is it a mile or a 6 furlong horse? We'll tell you when we come back. After the Oklahoma timeout, we welcome you back to Norman. Joel Myers along with Brian Baldinger and Jim Knox. And we talked about the Belldozers here. Blake Bell takes over at quarterback, and you were talking about the legacy.
Well, his father, Mark Bell, played a long time in the NFL. His uncle, Mike Boogie Bell from Kansas City, was a 12-year veteran. Boogie could dance now. I mean, he was a great defensive lineman, and he has some of those bloodlines from those people.
Bell calling his own number. He's got a 1st and goal down to the 3 as they drive him back. It's Bukare.
Yeah.
And the strong side backer, they needed somebody to go low to bring him back.
I haven't seen anybody take Blake Bell off his feet like that. I mean, here's the 2 fullbacks now. You know, they just, and really, when you run this offense, this is what Tebow did. This is what Colin Klein is doing up at Kansas State right now. You gain an extra man. Instead of that quarterback handing it off, where you don't have to defend the quarterback to the running back, now you are the running back.
And Landry Jones back in on a 1st and goal at the 3. So Bell had 4 rushing touchdowns last week against Texas. He's got 20 on his young career. And it's Williams staggering his way close to the goal line. He's down, though, and the ball came out.
Yeah.
But it looked like they said he was down. Kansas did come up with it. No, I'm just talking about, did they blow the whistle? If they say he was down and they blew the whistle, he's down at the 1. And that's the case.
And Blake Bell's back in.
It almost looked like he was on top of another body. Let's see
if it needs to. Yeah, he's down. Okay.
Yeah.
Good call. Good camera shot there. Blake Bell has scored 20 touchdowns here for the Sooners the last 2 years.
That's 71 carries, 20 touchdowns, 72. And now looks for another, and he's got it. Touchdown, Blake Bell, Oklahoma.
This is becoming a national phenomenon right now, because I think this guy's going to be a great quarterback when Landry Jones moves on. Because I was watching him throw it, but right now, this is his package. This is the time. Short yardage, goal line. There's no disguise. Puts the ball in the right arm. He usually runs right, and he usually scores when he runs from the 1-yard line because the blocking is so good up front.
Well, that's Josh Heupel telling us earlier this week. He goes, guys, he can throw the football.
Oh, he can throw it now. I watched him. He can really spin it.
That's the offensive coordinator for the Sooners. Honeycutt is perfect. Like everything else right now, 2.5 minutes into the 2nd quarter for Oklahoma. To the Belldozer, a national phenomenon. It's 17-0. When we come back to Norman, the Jayhawks look to get back in the game. Fox College football is presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. By Ford, it's the Build Ford Tough Truck event at your local Ford dealer. And on your way home, make a late-night foodie call at Jack in the Box. Points off a turnover for the Sooners after that short field, and the fumble by Chris. It was a touchdown run by Blake Bell, 17-0. Blake Bell the story, and with more, Jim Knox. Knoxy.
Yeah, Joel, interesting how this Belldozer package came about. Talking to Mike Stoops, he said they were playing against Kansas State and actually seeing Colin Klein go in from the end zone. They said, hey, you got the offensive coordinator together, and it's say, you know, our guy's bigger than him, our backup quarterback. Let's put our guy in that situation. That's how Belldozer got born right there against Kansas State.
You like that. Thanks, Jim. From the 1, it's Trey Parmalee. Yeah, tough return as he's got it out across the 20. Let's head over to the studio now. Mazda game break time with Kevin Frazier. Guys.
Joel, thanks a lot. We're going to check in on the showdown in Morgantown as West Virginia hosting Kansas State. And so far, it's been all K-State, Marcus.
What we found out is Kansas State is a great road to Oklahoma in Oklahoma, and now they're beating West Virginia in Morgantown.
They are beating up West Virginian ball. Like Marcus said, they know how good this K-State team is in Norman.
They do, and they're still trying to get over that. One thing to themselves, Bill Snyder team, and not with Colin Klein at quarterback.
Completion goes out to Cale Pick. Just to follow up on that thought, you said they don't beat themselves. What they did was they forced turnovers from the Sooners and winning 24-19 here. So thank you, Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. What a score. Colin Klein homeschooled, and K-State has become. Need about 4.5, 5 to first down going backward. James Sims, he's short, but not by much, less than a yard. And boy, is this crucial just to slow down Oklahoma's momentum. At least a first down from Kansas. They can't afford to go 3 and out.
Just to hold on to it. And really, if they can hold on to it and get a first down, I think they've got to take a deep shot just to loosen the safeties up. Tony Jefferson and Javon Harris spending too much time hitting these running backs.
Need about a yard, and that's all they get. Well, the linesman on the far side, if they toss him the ball, they've got the first down. Left foot, right foot. And Dule wrapping him up very quickly, and they've got it by about a foot, I believe. Yes, first down, Kansas.
This is Charlie here calling the plays, gets it signaled in once he makes the call. Michael Cummings in there right now, engineering the drive, and he does at 5'10". He's short, but he's got a strong arm. I think they need to take a shot.
We saw that big gun, and now Pitt was held. No flag. They grabbed his jersey. He goes the other way, though. Tried to get it to Ragone, the tight end. Well, Cale Pick in front of us. He had beaten his man on a single on the outside, and they grabbed the jersey of Cale Pick and got away with it.
Yeah, Aaron Colvin on the outside. On the other side, that's going up top, but at the bottom.
Yeah, near side. And the pass was not too far off the mark for Ragone. Here's what I'm talking about.
Yeah, here's Colvin right here. He's watching him grab his jersey. He knows he's beat. You know?
And there was no safety coming over to that side.
No, safeties are too busy sniffing out the run here.
It's the 2nd and 10. And it's Sims for maybe a yard and a half. Tony Jefferson over there. Do they run? Do they have lateral pursuit to the football?
Well, they're too deep at every position. A lot of these guys getting a lot of time right now, and they've got speed, you know, and they've got instincts. And Mike Stoops coming in now. They've simplified the defense. They said we don't want to trick teams. We want to be able to line up and beat them. You know, if we have to blitz, we will. We like to just line up and beat them with our front and with our coverage here, and guys that can just flat out run.
So now 3rd, almost 9. He comes on Cummings, and it's wide of Parmalee. The pressure paid off that time.
Well, that time
because he was available.
Well, it was a delayed blitz right in Cummings' face. The linebacker looked like he was going to come, and then he kind of faked. You can see he's going to fake, and now he's going to come. And so there's nobody to pick him up. The back had already left, and so now he's right in the face of Michael Cummings at 5'10". It's very difficult for him to see.
Well timed for Mike Stoops, the defensive coordinator. It was Frank Shannon, a redshirt freshman out of Dallas, that got right into the face of the quarterback. Justin Brown. Real good punt by Doherty. And Brown from the 10. Making a miss. Look out. Past the 25. And a good return. Weaving his way with blocks along the way. Look out. Past the midfield stripe. Justin Brown. Will he take it to the distance? They've got an angle. And pop him out. I believe no. Touchdown Oklahoma.
Well, he fumbled his first punt return attempt today, and he just made up for it on that punt return for a touchdown. And you saw all the skills. You saw the ability to beat a man in his face.
Well, how did he not step out of bounds at about the 5?
There. Made one guy miss, and now look at this cut. This cut made about 4 guys from Kansas miss. And now it's just flat out speed. And he's not leaking any oil to finish this run.
Great job to stay in bounds.
Stay in bounds. Right inside the
Outstanding job. So stretched out the 6'3" frame. They're going to look upstairs because we thought he potentially was on his way out of bounds.
On the field was interception and touchdown.
But the transfer
Play is under further
from
review.
Penn State with the strength and the length looked like he got it in.
Yeah. Well,
Ooh.
yeah, well, it's going to be really close.
Was the body out at about the 1?
He stretched out all the way when that hip hits the ground, which puts him down. Look at that. That extension. I mean, he's 6'3" with long arms. He extended about 4 yards.
It's 90. The return is 90 yards for the score if it stands. He came in 10th best in the country with a 16-yard average.
He's got it stretched all the way out. I mean, it's either going to be right just inches shy of the goal line, it's going to be a touchdown.
I like what Bob Stoops said about Brown, though. The way he came in, like, very matter of fact about everything. 3 days already into fall camp.
Well, think about it. I mean, you know, the situation blows up at Penn State. He's got basically 10 days to make a decision of where to go. They put the call into him. They were looking for some receivers. And how about Justin Brown showing up on your doorstep? You know, when you need receivers. And then he comes in and he doesn't try to big time anybody. All he wants to do is blend in. And there's that young receiving corps that he's talking to and giving them the play-by-play on what he just did.
So special teams, when it came to kicking the football over the first 6 games of the season, not a strong suit for Charlie Weiss. The coverage teams had not been bad, though.
After further review, ruling on the field stands. Touchdown.
It's a 90-yard touchdown return for Justin Brown. So from bad to worse.
So last week, Damian Williams went 95 yards off right tackle for a touchdown. Justin Brown just took a punt return, 90 yards and a touchdown. Those are examples of just speed. You know, that you can recruit a lot of different players, but speed is something that you either have or you don't have, and both those guys have it. And Oklahoma is a dangerous team because they can score from anywhere on the field with that type of speed.
Honeycutt for the point after. And they have blown it wide open with 5 minutes of the second quarter. So now, after the first career return for a touchdown for Justin Brown. From Penn State to Oklahoma, and he's adjusting nicely. Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen, they're going to get us ready for halftime when we come back. Right after these messages with the Sooners dominating early.
All right, coming up, Marcus, what are we going to learn from the showdown in Morgantown about the Heisman race?
We're going to find out who is the contender and who is the pretender.
All right, and also we will show you a triple overtime thriller between Texas Tech and TCU. It's all coming up at the half. Joel?
Welcome back once again, and thank you, Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. We'll look forward to halftime, and what an explosion by Kansas State at West Virginia. More on that story with the guys during the break. It'll be Hodgson kicking it away once again. And staying in the end zone, Ja'Cory Shepard. Now look back, and how many linemen are you allowed to have on a coverage team?
There's 3 linemen there. I mean, you've got Lewandowski, you've got Admire. I mean, all those guys are up there blocking, okay? But now you're not getting any coverage. So now you got 3 linemen down there trying to cover here. They're not getting close to Justin Brown. He's going to make, there it is, Lewandowski miss easy. Going to make Admire miss easily. You don't have enough athletes out there trying to cover. So while you may protect your punter Doherty a little bit better, you're not getting any coverage, and so Justin Brown has a 90-yard return.
After the touchback, it's 1st and 10 to the 25. As Cummings hits Sims in the flat for about 5. So Kansas down now by 24. 5 minutes in the second quarter. Well, 36 on the board at halftime last week, and that was at the Cotton Bowl. 36 against the Texas defense. So granted 17 to the 24 from the offense. Sims tries to find a little crease over the right side. He shortened the first down by 2. But Landry Jones in this offense can put up some points.
Well, I mean, you're looking at all phases right now. You're looking at the special teams, obviously, with what Justin Brown did. You're looking at the explosive plays offensively. The touchdown by Kenny Stills, the long bomb from Landry Jones. They've got that. And then they've got playmakers all over the field on defense right now. And Kansas is sitting here with all these tight formations, afraid to kind of spread them out because of the pass rush.
They're down by 24. Cummings stays on the field. Need 2 for the first down. And with max protection, they get the first down. Good grab by Cale Pick. Across to the 37-yard line. Let's check in once again with Jim Knox.
Joel, I think Justin Brown just took his last congratulatory handshake after that punt return. You know, sitting on the bench, he was talking to everyone who came by him. I'm just making up, guys. I'm just making up after that fumble punt. I think he made up.
You know Wilmington, Delaware pretty well.
Yeah, I do. It's not far from my home. Not many from Wilmington, end up here in Norman, Oklahoma. Here's Sims.
On the outside. Boy, the way the speed, it looks like it's going to go for a big gain, and then Aaron Franklin, the sophomore from Marshall, Texas, chases him down. By the way, that 90-yard punt return, that is not the longest in Oklahoma history.
Tell me who has the longest.
1948, Darrell Royal.
The Darrell Royal.
Darrell Royal, a 96-yarder for the series.
Great coach for the Longhorns.
It'll be 2nd and 8. Option read. Pearson's back into the game. But is he kind of a one-arm bandit the way he's protecting that left elbow?
Yeah, but they need his playmaking ability. I mean, they don't want to put him in harm's way. You know, he's got to wrap it up in his right arm right now. He probably can't quite be as explosive as he wants to. But they need an explosive play here, trying to hang on to the football. That's not comfortable. You don't go through spring training and summer training and, you know, with the one arm. It's just hard to maneuver and hard to get used to.
Cummings running out of time, and it's going to be picked off. The safety came over, made the play. It's Harris.
Wow.
And it floated. He tried to get it. The strong safety is a senior from Lawton, Oklahoma. He tried to get it in an ad-lib play.
Well, Javon Harris had a 46-yard interception return for a touchdown last week. And this one by Cummings, he feels the pressure here, and he just throws this ball up. Now, Oklahoma, the initial throw wasn't there. He thought he could get, I think it was Pearson on the wheel route behind him. He just didn't get enough air on the ball. And Javon Harris, I mentioned the two safeties are all over the field. That time reading his keys and pass coverage, and he was in perfect position.
So the pick by Harris, and now an opportunity for another short field. They got 7 off the fumble return. A long fumble return by Casey Walker. That was a 28-yard field. Now they've got it, and it's in plus territory again to the 47 of Kansas. So 14 of their 24 coming off the turnover and the punt return. And now they get more points off the turnover. Ton of time, Kenny Stills, middle of the field, lost his man. And it looked like a trap from up here. It is going to be incomplete. And well, they know they're going to say it's a catch. Nobody came in to say it.
The
one official said it was an incompletion.
They may be hurrying this up right now so they can't get reviewed. It looked like a trap from up here.
It did look like a trap. It'll go to the outside. Damian Williams. And check that. It's Brennan Clay. And are they going to say before the snap?
Prior to the snap, we were paged on the previous play. Ruling on the field was catch. Play is under further review.
That is the definition of a hurry-up offense.
Yes, that's what it is designed to do. And Charlie's hoping that somebody got paged because I thought that Landry Jones left this short. Oh, yeah, that ball is trapped by Stills. Nice job of acting.
If ever you wanted to use a timeout, you're down by 24.
Yeah.
And you have all 3 left in the first half. You think they'd take it there.
Just so that to ensure that you get a look.
There's a review. So Kansas down the road may look at that and remember, well, wait a minute, let's stop it.
Well, they're lucky that that buzz came in. It looked like they got the snap off, but we don't know, exactly when that came through. Referee today, Greg Burks, got the buzz, I guess, before the snap, so he'll take a look. Take a look upstairs.
They have been very fortunate, and you create your own luck. And we just saw Bob Stoops on the sideline, and I say fortunate because of so many coaching changes. And Kansas, you can look at all the coaches they've been through. But over the decades here in Oklahoma, Bud Wilkinson, Barry Switzer, and now Bob Stoops in his 14th year. And the way it stabilizes the program, the continuity they have, and you know what to expect. When we get in our calls and have a conference with Bob Stoops early in the week, we know what's coming.
Yeah.
I mean, it's matter of fact.
Well, it's business. It's business. And, everybody was looking at the loss to Kansas State and the season's over and, why, preseason rankings. And here we go all over again, like the loss here last year to Texas Tech. And it kind of it irks them because this Landry Jones now was working with a brand new receiving corps, a new tight end corps for the most part. And that was the one veteran returner, Kenny Stills at the receiver. He's working with transfers, with freshmen out there. He's trying to get some timing with them. And the only way you get the timing is by playing games. And they had 2 bye weeks. sandwiched before and after that Kansas State game, so they just couldn't get on the field and get the timing down.
And you know Barry Switzer was out last night in Norman.
Barry Switzer was visiting Dave Campo last night. Talked to Dave about it. Barry will always bring a little bit of festivity to a hotel room.
His defensive coordinator with the Cowboys, Dave Campo.
Yeah, well, they've got a Super Bowl ring together.
I don't know if
1995.
I've heard a couple of imitations. My buddy, and you know him well, Spencer Tillman.
Yes.
He does. If you turn your head, you think it's Barry Switzer, and he played for Coach Switzer.
I heard Spencer Tillman today say on a program that he thought Oklahoma was the best one-loss team.
The ball hit the ground and the pass is incomplete.
We're only about 18.
Second and 10 at the 47.
We're about 18 stories up, and it looked like a trap.
We're like in a blimp.
7:35.
Well, Stills did a good job of trying to cover it up. Not even he's upset he didn't get away with it. But he told me before the game that he was going to do a lot of stuff on the outside today, and he has. Already caught himself, a long post pattern for a touchdown.
So Spencer Tillman feels that Oklahoma, and he's a pretty objective guy, even though he was an All-American here. No, he is.
Yes.
I'm trying, Spencer.
Yeah, well, I know you work with them in the preseason, doing the Houston Texan games, but I think after, Notre Dame will be here next weekend. I think they may have a very legitimate claim to the best one-loss team in college football.
Second and 10 from the 47. Batted right back at Landry Jones. Jake Love, the redshirt freshman from nearby here in Oklahoma. He said, they asked him when's the last time. He goes, about 10 years ago. I was a fan at the stadium.
Well, here he is.
Back.
Just reading the bootleg now. Got a chance to start last week and answered with a career-high 12 tackles against Oklahoma State, filling in for Tunde Bakare, who was injured, shaken up, and now he's taken over that position at outside linebacker.
Trips on the wide side of the field. Stills is the single up top. And Landry Jones gets the play from the sideline. Knee 10. Extra pass pressure coming. And on the sideline, it's there. And it's complete. Grab made by Sterling Shepard. True freshman from Oklahoma City. Big-time talent.
And the first catch of the day by Sterling Shepard, and he wows you with his ability. He's just going to run a go route on the outside, and good protection. Easy for Landry Jones to step up, and look at that throw. And I like the way Sterling Shepard goes and turns to get the ball on a wheel route there from the slot position to the outside, and goes and gets it and squeezes it, looks it into his hands.
They needed 10, got a lot more than that, down to the 16. And there is a true legacy for the Oklahoma Sooners. Sterling Shepard. Jones with Williams chopped down from behind, but back to Sterling Shepard and wearing number 3, which his dad Derek wore, a former assistant coach here, who unfortunately passed away. And when they celebrated the national championship team that his dad played on as a young man, he was out there representing his father. And little did he know, he was about what, 9 or 10-year-old at the time, and Bob Stoops took him under his wing and with him until he couldn't be anymore because of recruiting. He was there representing his dad with the jersey on.
Age 6 years old. You see pictures of him here on the campus, at practice, on the sidelines of games. He's been a part of the Sooner family now for 15 years.
They spread the defense underneath. In the flat, it's Williams, close to a 1st and goal. We talked about the new wide receivers for Oklahoma, including the young man we were just talking about, Sterling Shepard. That's what Landry Jones, as a senior, is bringing along in what could be a memorable year.
Yeah, and they just keep getting better and better. And obviously, they've got the most experienced quarterback in all of college football thrown it to them. So, I mean, all these guys have to do is, just work hard and fight for playing time right now. Here comes Blake Bell in the game on 3rd and short. Landry Jones takes a little water break here.
And Blake Bell, another Wichita guy that got away from Kansas out of Bishop Carroll High School. Waits. Man, he's got the 1st and goal. Inside the 5, down to the 4.
And the operative word, Joel, there is waits. Because, if this package was taken from what Colin Klein is doing up there in Lawrence, Kansas, that's what he does. He's a very patient runner. We see it on film every week when we see K-State playing. It's how patient. Let the guys get their blocks, and then a lot of guys rush that run that time. Just let Millard and the fullback set their blocks and then find the opening.
Landry Jones back in there. 1st and goal inside the 5. Corner and batted away effectively, trying to get it to Justin Brown. A flag on the play, though. The D-back Greg Brown, he got one end of the ball. Did he have the other arm on the wide receiver?
Yeah, it looked like he was face guarding him. We saw that a no call earlier against Oklahoma that was doing it.
Tough call. And for a corner shot, it was a line drive. He wasn't dropping it in that time either.
There is no foul for DPI. Second down.
I like that. I like when they pick it up.
You said
like that, you know, because really, I think Landry Jones would like to put a little more air on this ball. But you see, he turned back for the ball. I mean, Greg Brown turned back. Once he turns back to locate the ball, you know, he knocks it down. That's not pass interference.
Well, if anything, it's Greg Brown.
Yeah.
Who's interfering from behind. He had to play defensive back. Second and goal.
Boy, Justin Brown, what a height advantage out here now. We mentioned him. You know, he's 6'3" with long arms.
It's Williams, and he's in. Touchdown, Oklahoma.
I like Damian Williams' style now. Not a whole lot of celebrating there. Letting his offensive line kind of do more celebrating than Williams. Just going to take good block by Miller, the fullback, on kind of a cross buck action. It's just a huge hole for Damian Williams, and he gets his first touchdown of the night. Everybody's sort of joining in right now.
Williams came in averaging just 8 yards a carry. And second best per game in the Big 12 with better than 100 yards a contest. Honeycutt for the point after. So points off the turnover. Don't forget, it all started with Javon Harris's pick. And it covered 47 yards, 8 plays, a little more than 2.5 off the clock. All Oklahoma in Norman. 31-0 Sooners. We feel exactly the same way, buddy. Welcome back once again on a magnificent night in Norman, Oklahoma. Now, in the student body section, I hope he has not consumed too many beverages before they throw him up in the air 31 times.
Well, I think he's, you know, he looks light. You know, if I was going to be part of that, I'd get a smaller guy.
That's not what I'm alluding to.
I know what you're alluding to. Why has he got a bib on?
What was he playing? What game before?
He lost.
Michael Honeycutt will kick it away after the Damian Williams touchdown. Short field again after the turnover with 47 yards covered. Cox and Ja'Cory Shepherd are back. Taylor Cox, Oak Creek, Washington. And the short one is going to be taken by Shepherd. And good coverage again. It's a long field for the Jayhawks, and it's a long night so far. Our Coors Light game summary. 31 points, not that many total yards of offense. In fact, only 210 for Oklahoma because of the takeaways and the efficiency.
Yeah, and, you know, they've given up the big plays, and then, you know, they've had some untimely turnovers. You know, the Dane Chris turnover really, that was a 10-0 game. They're driving in to score, and Chris turns the ball over. The next thing you know, it's 17-0. You get a punt return for a touchdown. You know, it can get away from you very quickly as Dane Chris returns to quarterback.
Tony Pearson in the backfield, running left, holding it right, and breaks through. An ankle tackle up to the 23 for a gain of 5. He just looks tentative out there.
Yeah, I mean, it's hard. You know, last week they had him dressed, but he did not play. So now he's trying to work his way back in there. They got to be a little protective because, you know, you don't want this thing to be re-injured right now. I mean, he's just a sophomore. He's got great promise here as Charlie tries to, you know, add some junior college recruits. Add some 4-star and 5-star recruits to this team, figure out the quarterback situation so they can compete a little bit more next year. Pearson's going to be a big part of it.
It'll be 2nd and 5. Pearson again. And showing his maneuverability. Boy.
See, that's a little easier.
Talk about awareness and vision.
Well, that's a little easier on the elbow when you actually don't hit the ground. You know, here he is just dancing amongst all of the defenders over here. Gets a couple guys pulling out front. Dent's out there leading them. He just stays on his feet. You can see the athletic ability amongst a lot of great athletes in red jerseys.
As a former lineman, don't you love it when a guy doesn't run himself out of a play?
Yeah.
He doesn't rush it. He waits.
Yeah, he's very patient.
From the 34, it's a first down. On the cross, It's complete. It short the first down across the 40 to the 42 to Omiji. His first catch, junior from Arlington, Texas. Marcus Allen was a guy who's in the studio who had great vision like that. He waited, and then there was the burst.
Yeah.
A lot taller than Tony Pearson.
You know, a Heisman Trophy winner and Super Bowl superstar and 15-year NFL career later. You couldn't get a good hit, as I recall,
Couldn't get a clean shot.
No.
Second and less than 2. Pearson's got the first down with a spin to the 45. Brought down by R.J. Washington.
And that's what really Kansas needs right now is just a ball-controlled drive. Get the defense rested here. Keep them off the field. You know, stop the hemorrhaging for a little bit. You know, get on the board here before halftime. Let Charlie address the troops at halftime. You know, come up with a plan to get the second touchdown and just try and keep this thing close right now and get yourself a score.
The numbers can't lie, though, Brian. 8 first downs for Kansas compared to 10 for Oklahoma.
Unbalanced right this time.
Pearson. He waits. Patience again for about 3 up to the 48.
You know, Charlie's looking at that play sheet. He's just looking for a play, right? So he's going through everything. I mean, here, you know, you got 4 extra offensive linemen over here, just 1 tackle on this side. You know, just going unbalanced right now, changing quarterbacks. They're getting Pearson in the game. You know, just trying to get a numbers advantage to that right side. He's looking at that menu going, what else do I have? I need a second down play right now.
Also experiment for down the road purposes.
Sure. Yeah. I mean, you're always thinking about down the road right now with Charlie.
It's 2nd and 8. In the flat. Hot one off the one hand of Pearson.
You see now, you know, that's where he's limited. You know, to be able to reach out with that sort of restriction on the left arm for that football, you can't get there.
Missed last week, most of the previous week because he suffered the injury in the second quarter. They're headed over to the sideline on 3rd and long. Bourbon back in the game. So this series for Chris. It started back with the Jayhawks 18. Back-to-back first downs. Can they get another? Kick. Instead, middle of the field. Ragone can't hang on. Tight end. And that's kind of the story. When the opening's been there for the Jayhawks, they don't take advantage.
From Camden Catholic High School in Camden, New Jersey, by way of Notre Dame. And Ragone is just going to take it right down the seam. There he is. He's wide open. Those safeties getting nosy, and really that's the best ball that Chris threw all day. And he knows it. He knows that he let him down and forced a punt. But, I mean, you're 5th-year seniors. From a 5th-year senior to a 5th-year senior, the drop is there, and it's unfortunate.
Brown stays away from it. It'll be out of bounds, and a short punt at that, at about the 24. Well, next Saturday, join us. Great day of college football on Fox. It'll all be the 25th ranked Texas Longhorns taking on these Jayhawks in Kansas. That will start it off. Followed by, we're going to be in Stillwater. TCU had a heartbreaking loss at home today in triple overtime. TCU at Oklahoma State. Big win for the Cowboys today. Baylor, Iowa State, and then it'll be UCLA and Arizona State. So college football continues next Saturday all across Fox College Football Sports. I'll see it here. You'll see it on FX.
J.W. Walsh threw for over 400 yards for Oklahoma State today. Getting better.
Hit Brennan Clay, making the most of a limited opportunity. Down the field he goes. Clay all the way to the 35, a junior from San Diego. He had 59 on the ground last week in limited activity late against Texas.
He's just going to take this underneath handoff. And he's another Kansas, from Altamont, Kansas, and he just picks up a block down the field. That time from Lane Johnson and Brunson Irwin leading down the field. And another patient long run by an Oklahoma running back. They all turn together, don't they? In unison.
Middle of the field, just wide, trying to get it to Jalen Saunders. Back to, as they all look to the sideline, during Friday practices, because they're more than just walkthroughs here for Bob Stoops. They go at game speed with the second unit behind the first unit, mimicking what they're doing. It's like shadowing.
Well, you're mirroring it. You know, you're just mirroring the starter.
They take it very seriously. The Friday walkthroughs around here, and it shows on Saturday.
Well, the preparation is there, and they're putting it together here tonight for the 3rd week in a row now.
Play stays in the backfield. Extra pass rusher dumps. Single coverage on Stills. And it'll be a first down.
Kenny Stills having a good night. Real good night.
He's coming back on Ja'Cory Shepherd. So helping out his quarterback, wasn't he?
Well, that ball was already in the air when he came back to it.
Landry Jones underneath, making a miss. Same guy, Kenny Stills, the experienced one. 1st and goal inside the 10, tripped up by Ben Heaney.
Well, that's just what you call a flanker drive concept, where the inside receiver's going deep and he's just cutting it off on a little in cut at about 5 yards, and he's wide open.
Jones, back shoulder for Stills. Then knocked away by Ja'Cory Shepherd. Good job by the defensive back, right on him. Kenny Stills out of Southern California at 6'1", 190. They don't have that many small receivers to begin with here.
Well, they've got a blend. They got a blend of size, quickness, flat out speed, freshmen, seniors.
And 2 transfers, which is a surprise around here.
Yeah.
And 3 when you throw in Williams out of Arizona Western. On the 1st and goal. Ton of time for Landry Jones. Back of the end zone. Brown can't hang on. Popped away at the last second by Greg Brown. Timing is everything.
Well, it's a good finish by Brown. Really good finish. Because Justin Brown had the ball right in his hands. This is a good throw. A really good throw by Landry Jones. There's the perfect throw. Now here's the finish by Brown. That's not giving up on the play.
Just punched it, didn't he?
No, I like it. I mean, look, it's easy to hang your head when it's 31-0 there before halftime. But Greg Brown out competing. Dave Campo will like that.
Play. Gets it in late. Jones on 3rd and goal. Back of the end zone. Touchdown, Oklahoma, and Sterling Shepard.
Second touchdown catch of the year for Shepard. And we've seen all the receivers now. We've seen them all. They all have a different skill set. Winningest quarterback in Oklahoma history, adds another touchdown to his resume. This one to a freshman. He can spin it. Beat the safety Bradley McDougal on the play.
It's Honeycutt for the point after. And when you talk about Landry Jones, the one thing that stands out is how efficient he is. He's thrown for better than 200 yards once again tonight on 14 of 22. Over the first 5, he's completed 62% with 9 touchdowns. He's been picked off only 3 times.
Yeah, and you know, if they wanted to go and win the stat race here in college football, they could do that. But they really want to run the football. It's Oklahoma football. You run the ball, and that's what Bobby Stoops is looking to do. You know, he wants the balance, and he wants the blend of the run. And they want to get better at all of them. But if you have to put it in Landry Jones' hand because, you know, you need that late score to come back and win against him, you got a guy that has more experience than anybody in college football to do it.
To your point, they ran it for 343 yards against Texas last week and 6 touchdowns on the ground.
And they threw it for 343 yards. I mean, they threw it for just 10 yards different than what they ran it for. So Sterling Shepard, you mentioned obviously his father, a great player here, grew up in the program. Really, Bobby Stoops took him under his wing when he was just a young boy. To see him grow up to become a man like this and now enter the program, you got so many good years in front of him right now.
Honeycutt to kick it away. And it's interesting, he had taken him under his wing, but then once he became a high school recruit, he couldn't, he had to back off. Shepard and Taylor Cox, it'll be Corey Shepard once again, about a yard into the end zone. And put himself off balance. He's out of bounds near the 17-yard line. Well, do you agree with the first BCS standings that came out?
I agree with the first selection there at Alabama. I saw Oregon play, I think it was Thursday night. That was another track meet. Kansas State taking care of business all over West Virginia today. I think before it's all over, I know this is going to sound crazy, but Colin Klein, to me, has got to be a candidate for the Heisman Trophy. I mean, the stats aren't going to be there because he's not going to have a lot of passing yards. But the way that he runs that system, the way that he came in here 3 weeks ago, beat Oklahoma, helped beat Oklahoma, all he does is win.
Yeah, it's all about W's when it comes to Bill Snyder and his program.
Oklahoma.
Whether it's Colin
Their
Klein
second and a half,
or
30 seconds in length.
Michael Bishop, we could go back.
Well, Tim Tebow can win the Heisman Trophy. Colin Klein can win the Heisman Trophy.
Right. It's the point. It's not like they promote at Kansas State individuals. That's the way it's been with Bill Snyder. Well, and with Bob Stoops, who coached under Bill Snyder, don't forget. That tree goes right there.
Oh, yeah.
Bob Stoops was there with Bill Snyder. It is 67 consecutive polls. Then we talked about the consistency of Bob Stoops in Oklahoma. 67 straight BCS polls. They have been in the top 10. You saw Oklahoma at number 9. Now, after he lost to one of his mentors, Bill Snyder, what they've done to Texas Tech, who won again today in an incredible
Red
game.
Raiders in triple overtime.
And then what they did to Texas last week at the Cotton Bowl, and it wasn't a game.
Well, you know, and the one thing I'll say about Oklahoma, and Bobby Stoops will defend this, and we'll play it out. We'll see. You know, everybody says you can't play defense in the Big 12. This team plays defense, and Kansas State plays defense. There's some teams that can play and keep the score down in the yards there.
Pearson can run. He took it from the 18 up to the 25, stopped initially, brought down finally by Frank Shannon. But they've got a talent.
Well, they do. And, you know, if Tony Pearson goes out with a dislocated elbow, it's not like you have a replacement for him. I mean, there's not many guys, you know, in the last couple of years that have come through Kansas that have this type of ability.
Walker dropping the running back, but he still gets the first down. Valid point out of East St. Louis, Illinois. And he played over on the other side of the river earlier in high school in St. Louis before he transferred over to East St. Louis.
Oklahoma's starting defensive line is in there right now. McFarland, Walker pushing a defensive tackle.
Completion. First catch for Terzilli, who's been coming on, a sophomore from Butler, New Jersey.
Yeah. A couple East Coast guys.
And he kicked the shoe.
Can he get it on without untying the shoelace?
He doesn't have to leave. It's the shoe, it's not the helmet.
Right. They don't have that rule yet.
So that is going to do it for the first 30 minutes of play. And what a first half in all facets of the game. Talked about balance. It was balance, offense, defense, and special teams for the Sooners of Oklahoma. They're up by 38 as we join Jim Knox. Jim?
All right, thanks, Joel. Coach, I tell you what, complete domination, both sides of the football. Let's start with your defense. Right now, Kansas doesn't even have a total of 135 yards.
Well, I'm still a little picky. I still think we could play some of the run game a little tougher. We're going to talk about that, but it's been good. It really has. It's been great.
How pleased are you with the offense? It seems like everything Landry's doing right now works.
Yeah, Landry's throwing the ball beautifully, and receivers are getting open, executing well. We're protecting them well. So it's been really good half.
All right, thanks, Coach, for the time. Appreciate it. Halftime here in Norman, Oklahoma, with Oklahoma all over Kansas, 38-0. Right now, we'll head up to Los Angeles and check out the Fox College Football Halftime Show with Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen.
We get ready for the start of the second half in Norman, Oklahoma. The Sooners averaging 43 points a contest, coming in 9th best in the country. They are way ahead of schedule. Statistically, now the numbers do lie. When we talk about stats, especially time of possession.
Well, right now, Oklahoma's not making any mistakes. I mean, Kansas is. I mean, they haven't committed a penalty yet in the first 30 minutes of action. And in almost 11 minutes, they put up 38 points. So they've got a special teams return for a touchdown and 90 yards, a couple big plays, you know, that really they haven't had to have the ball very long in order to put up the 38.
Oklahoma won the toss, deferred to the second half, so up 38. They will get it first. They'll have running play. Roy Finch, who was a big part of the offense. Don't forget, over the last 2 years here, now wideout, heading into the backfield. And it's going to be brought back by Finch. Finch with a nice move. Well, he's only got the kicker, so what do you think? On his way, Roy Finch should take it the distance, and that's the way the second half begins. 99 yards on the touchdown.
Right, if you don't get a chance to touch it very often, you got to take advantage of it. They have skilled positions everywhere. Second special teams return for a touchdown this evening. Picks up a good block. There, now he's off. Got to beat the kicker. Nobody in a safety position here to take Finch down. 90-yard return for a touchdown. Now 99-yard return for a touchdown.
And after the score, Kansas was trying to get players onto the field to defend the extra point. And they're still hustling out there. So Roy Finch from Niceville, Florida. A junior former running back, now at wideout. Honeycutt, point after coming up. It's going to be a long second half.
Well, Oklahoma obviously ready to go. They had a full team stretch beforehand. And Finch, first time he's got a chance to touch the ball this evening. You mentioned what a big part of the program he has been and what he's done this season. But that took all of about 13 seconds to take it the length of the field.
Well, you are a yoga guy, and you like the ones in the room of 110 degrees.
Yeah.
So you appreciate that stretch before the start of the play.
I did. I said it was a good team stretch. They were ready to go.
So Roy Finch, as you said, not many touches, capitalizing. 99-yard kick return, 90-yard punt return by Justin Brown. And Bob Stoops with a bit of a smile on this.
He's trying to conceal it, but really Roy Finch at 5'7".
There's the special teams coach.
Where's
Clint
Finch?
Bowen.
Yeah, Clint Bowen, the special teams coach, having a rough night tonight. The hope is that you can just kick it right through the end zone and eliminate the return.
So 14 of the 45 on the board. Up against the specials. Punt return, the kick return. Trey Parmelee and Taylor Cox wait for the Honeycutt kick. It'll be Parmelee from the 6. Got a little alley over to the left side. And a very little one. He's run out of bounds at the 25. So we check in with Jim Knox. Jim?
All right, thanks, Joel. Apparently, Charlie Weiss's message at halftime wasn't heard by his players. He told me right before the start of the second half here that he told his team at halftime, compete like it's 0-0. Well, if that's the case, they're down now 7-0. I did ask him, you going to do anything different here in the second half? He said, yes, we're going to try to mount some type of drive and get some points on the board. They need it here, definitely, guys.
Okay, they're going to continue, Jim, to look at Michael Cummings, a redshirt freshman quarterback. Lean, Texas. He'll get the start of the second half. At the start of the game, Sims up to the 26. It always looks strange when a guy running right has the ball in his left hand.
Well, yeah, you're trying to keep it away from the defender, so you want to put it on the outside arm just from a fundamental standpoint. Sometimes you can't get it there. But one thing that Charlie's trying to do is protect his quarterback here by formation. So it's a very tight formation right now, so you can chip the ends. You don't get, you watch college football, you see receivers spread all over the place, but not here. Trying to, and as a result, everything is compressed defensively here.
Cummings won't get out of the backfield. On the option read, Jamarcus McFarland, 6'2", 290 pounds. He's quick.
Well, he is, and Jamarcus McFarland is amazing. I mean, he's going to graduate in December. Very smart guy, and use that intelligence to read the blocking pattern right there and get everybody on his inside shoulder to be able to play to the outside.
Dent now at right guard, the junior from Dallas. That's the one he's working against. Cummings on 3rd and long. A lot of room to roam. Man gets all tangled up with his own offensive lineman. Man, what a messed up situation. The right side of the offensive lineman, a lot of real estate.
But he had it, but he was looking to make a play, and so there was only 2 receivers in the route. One was single covered, and he was blanketed. The other was double covered. There was no place to go with the ball. Yeah, if he just broken the pocket right away, Joe, he might have been able to pick up the first one.
Casey Walker makes another nice play. He's the one to return the fumble in the first half.
And he makes all the calls on that defensive line as well.
Justin Brown with a 90-yard return. Waits back inside the 30. And Doherty spins out another beauty. Brown will take it on the short hop. Got a good scoop at about the 15. So 3 and out with a punt. Last thing the Jayhawks needed. They need to see some plays to evaluate some of their younger players. Concession stands are busy. We're on our way as well. Fox College Football is presented by Frostbrewed Coors Light, the game's most refreshing beer. By Mazda, we believe if it's not worth driving, it's not worth building. And by Whataburger, proud to serve it hot and fresh 24 hours a day. Welcome back once again to Norman as we sit in on history. Something that's never happened before in the long, storied program here in Norman. And that's the first time ever. A punt and a kick return in the same game. And long ones, not short ones.
Remarkable. Remarkable. Started playing football before the turn of the 20th century.
Big hole over to the right side, closed in a hurry, but still 5 for Damian Williams. And I got a kick out of Bob Stoops when you said, Bob, you don't recruit Arizona Western all that often, do you?
Exactly.
That's where he played his junior college ball.
Well, Damian Williams, you know, he came out of San Diego, grew up in Mississippi, went to high school in San Diego, and was going to go to Arizona State. And then Dennis Erickson got fired. When he got fired, you know, he was looking to make a change, wasn't looking to go with the new group, and so went to Arizona Western.
A little bubble action out in the flat. And textbook over on the far side to take care of Jalen Saunders. Bradley McDougall with a nice tackle, pushing him back.
Bradley McDougall has had nothing but a really fine senior season. We saw him last week against Oklahoma State have 12 tackles, tied for the team league last week. Return punts. He's trying to contribute any way he can from the safety position.
Now third, a little less than 4. Third start in the career of Landry Jones on a high snap. He's got the first down. Sterling Shepard makes the grab. And that was pretty simple, wasn't it? He had a lot of space up past the 25 to the 26 in front of the free safety.
Well, you know, how do you defend slot formation? So Shepard is the slot receiver, and all they did was drop the safety down. Bradley McDougall gave him a little too much room, and that's the respect that the freshman Sterling Shepard is already getting.
It'll be a first down near the 26. Ton of time, and over the middle, Justin Brown hangs on this time. He's got a first down all the way to the Kansas 35. Had a little edge on Greg Brown.
Well, he turned Greg Brown all the way around on this particular play. This is the second or third time tonight they've gone up top with a deep post. Look at that throw. Look at that ball spin. And he finds his tallest receiver, Justin Brown, right down the middle of the field. They throw a touchdown in the first quarter to Kenny Stills for 44 yards in the same play.
Sounds like you agree with Dave Campo, the defensive coordinator at Kansas, that Landry Jones, big time, big league arm.
Yes. Well,
Williams, boy, used the Brown block. He got an extra 3-4, and boy, using the block, he got close to a first down.
Well, one thing about these receivers, they block on the outside, and then Damian Williams is skilled at setting up those blocks on the outside.
By the way, that touchdown return on the kick to start the second half by Finch is officially now, his foot was on the goal line, they say, 100 yards. Third time that has happened in OU history. Most recently, Mark Bradley back in 2003. Buster Rhymes in 1980 for Coach Switzer.
Sure. Remember those guys running the wishbone back then with Barry Switzer. J.C. Watts. They could put up 300 yards rushing in a half.
Try to find the football. They really disguised it well in the bone. The wishbone was something else in those days. And to think that Barry Switzer convinced Troy Aikman he was going to change the offense for him.
Oh, you just see Ed. It just had to send, you know, the car to Henrietta, Oklahoma, right down the road here to go get him.
On first down, the play fake, middle of the field, wide open, Millard. And Trey Millard has the touchdown, uncovered.
Well, it's the same play that they ran earlier in the first half, and Millard dropped it. And it's just a straight seam route right down the middle of the field. I mean, this is about as easy a read for Landry Jones as he gets. And once again, he beat the coverage of the middle linebacker. He's going right after Ben Heaney, who's matched up on him. This time Millard catches it, and everybody's getting involved here this evening.
86-yard drive. Only 6 plays. And Honeycutt in for the point after. There's a lot of time left. Almost 10 minutes remaining in the third. Honeycutt puts him up to 52 as we head downstairs. Jim Knox.
All right, Joel, riding shotgun here in the Sooner Schooner. You know the tradition, after every Oklahoma point, they take a mini lap around the field. Not bad, huh? After this game, they're going to have to rotate the wagon wheels, I believe. More with Oklahoma against Kansas. Giddy up right after this.
It's a shutout still. The toss not quite as high. 52 times. And they picked the lightest guy in the section.
Yeah.
They're no fools.
They're not getting any air anymore. He's collapsing the arms.
Millard with the touchdown catch. So 52 on the board for Stoops in Oklahoma.
That's 3 performances by Bobby Stoops now in a row. Texas Tech.
Does that picture tell the story?
Yeah, the mascot, he wants to quit.
Is there still a body in the uniform?
Is there? I think the body left.
It'll be kicked away by Honeycutt once again. Parmalee and Taylor Cox back on special teams duty. And it's going to be Trey Parmalee from the 5. The turn left, and there's a wall waiting all night, a brick wall. So taking care of it, Lamar Harris on special teams coverage. Kansas is going to have it. They're in a 52-point hole, and they've been in a whole field position from the very beginning. The first 2 drives started at the 8 and at the 12. They have not been able to get any kind of returns.
You know, the fact that the coverage has just been so good all night. You know, the kickoffs are allowing the returns, but then the kickoff coverage all night. I mean, Bobby Stoops will definitely mention that in his post-game wrap-up after this performance.
It'll be Sims on the carry. Out across the 20. Gain of about 3 as he's dropped by Washington. Well, let's not forget about what Oklahoma's done defensively. Pitching a shutout. That's always difficult in college football. I know there's a lot of time left, but they've truly dominated the line of scrimmage.
Well, they did. They dominated last week. I thought the 3 touchdowns they surrendered to Texas last week are all by backups. The starters pitched a shutout just like they are here this evening.
Cummings faking it. He'll take it himself. And close to the first down. And let's remind everybody that Mike Stoops, who had been the coach at Arizona the last few years, is back with his brother. And he's no longer the co-defensive coordinator with Brett Venables. He's the coordinator. And they have improved significantly from last year.
And those numbers will go down after tonight's performance. So they'll climb nationally in that regard. And one thing that Mike Stoops said, he said, look, you know, you don't play great defense by trying to fool people or trying to blitz. And that's what they haven't done. They haven't had to do that tonight. They haven't had to do that much this year.
It's the option pass. It doesn't fool Javon Harris. He was back there. Taylor Cox threw it. And overthrown.
Well, I talked to, you know, Bobby Stoops about their 2 safeties, about Javon Harris and Tony Jefferson. I said, you know, those guys, they look like linebackers to me. I mean, they're so quick to the ball. He goes, they read their keys. So on that reverse pass that time, Javon Harris reading his keys, didn't bite up on the fake, stayed in the deep part of the field and defended the pass. So, you know, I think fundamentally they're very, very sound, how they're tackling and what their keys are telling them, and they're trusting those keys.
It'll be Doherty punting once again. And Jalen Saunders, not Justin Brown. He's back for the punt at the 20. and runs into his own blocker, going down at about the 21-22 with the flag down on the play.
This is against Oklahoma. It's their first penalty of the evening.
And it's Kansas who's been mistake-free when it comes to penalties this year over the first 6 games. They came in, not many positives. That was one of the few, though, averaging just 4 penalties at about 30 yards in mark-offs a game. Hasn't helped them lately, though. So the Sooners get it back. Now, where will they put it back into play? They've taken care of the Jayhawks on the first 2 series, 3 and out with a punt for Charlie Weiss's squad. So no letdown. Despite the scoreboard, they are truly playing like it's scoreless.
Oklahoma had 2 number 14s on the field at the same time. That's a 5-yard penalty, resulting in a first down for Kansas.
Well, it seemed that way all night for Kansas. That's the first time they've identified it, though, with a flag.
Yeah, well, Aaron Colvin, along with Jalen Saunders, the receiver and the corner, both on the field.
So it's going to result in a first down.
And both have been good players this evening, too. Saunders, the transfer from Fresno. Colvin, a guy that Bobby Stoops singled out to us this week when we talked to him about what kind of a game he had last week, what kind of season he's had.
Said he's going to have a really good, solid career. He's a junior out of the corner. Aaron Colvin.
He said that he has Aaron Colvin's best chance to be the best defensive back ever.
Penetration. They cut him off at the pass, didn't they? Ward. But he's denied earlier on the play, as it was R.J. Washington who really got into the backfield. So a loss of about 2. And it goes back to the mentality of just forget about the clock, forget about the scoreboard, and just play down at distance. Well, that's what they've been doing.
They have, and I think one reason why they didn't let down at all, I think these guys really enjoyed playing. And, you know, and it's showing in their performance here these last 2 years.
Sims trying to turn the corner. Makes him miss. Gang tackling as David King on the left end cleans up at the end of the play. So Kansas got their first down of the second half by way of penalty, but now they face a 3rd and long once again. David King, a senior from Houston, headed over to the sideline. They've got a deep rotation now up front, and they're starting to get more guys in to the back end.
And that's how you develop the program. You know, in games where you have them in hand, you start getting younger guys a lot more playing time in games just like this.
Cummings, pocket collapses. He's on his way down. Got about 3. Up to the 35. Endule and Casey Walker combined will take him down.
They can't get a first down. I mean, the running game, they at least ran the ball pretty well in the first half. Over 100 yards rushing. But right now, I mean, they can't sustain any run. And Bobby Stoops said to Jim Knox right before halftime, he goes, we can improve our run defense. And they have here in the second half. They're getting off blocks and getting a lot of crimson helmets to the ball.
It'll be the transfer from Fresno State. Junior from Sacramento, Jalen Saunders waiting for the punt. And the jump cut with a flag on the play. You know they think it's coming back with a block in the back. Nifty moves by Saunders, takes it all the way inside the 40-yard line. And then a flag at the end. So a personal foul potentially on Kansas at the end of the tackle.
Right on the Kansas sideline, a little pushing and shoving.
Talent to spare. Justin Brown, now Saunders. Special teams coach for Bob Stoops. So a block in the back, it looked originally on the return.
Here's the block on that play. He kind of looked like he tried to pull up on the play. Colton Bester, another one of those young wide receivers, a junior.
During the return, illegal block in the back, number 81 receiving team. And it will be enforced half the distance to the goal line. After the play, personal foul, number 66, Kansas, 15-yard penalty, first down. Timeout.
So Dylan Admire, offensive lineman, gets the mark off on the personal foul. But a night of celebration continues for the Oklahoma Sooners after back-to-back impressive wins over Texas, Texas Tech, and it continues tonight on their home field. .606 remaining in the third. Welcome back once again to Norman, Oklahoma. Joel Myers along with Brian Baldinger and Jim Knox. If the Schooner didn't head all the way to Dallas.
He's back in this position.
It's at the 25. And it's Williams into the secondary. He's got a first down as they ride him out at about the 42. You happen to be an expert on schooners.
Well, the Conestoga Sooner that they have, it used to go across rivers, so it had to be able to float. So, they made it with these flaps that would float across the river.
I know something about canoes, but not schooners.
No. I don't know. I think that would make it. There's the homecoming queen right there. Homecoming here in Norman this weekend.
He's at the 42 where it's a first down. Ton of time for Landry Jones. Now it starts to collapse. Ooh, he's not outside of the tackle box.
That looks like intentional grounding.
And that's why the linesman's coming over.
Yeah. So he'll go to the referee Burks and say, look, was he in the pocket? If he's in the pocket, then he should drop the yellow flag.
Here it comes.
Here it is.
Intentional grounding. Number 12 of the offense. Lost it down at the spot of the foul. Second down.
Now that's good mechanics on the officials.
Well, did he get outside of the box?
All right, let's see if he's right on the hash. No. I think that's the right call. Nobody over there. The side judge or the line judge sees it. He confers with the referee, and they drop the flag. It's the right call.
Intramurals flag football. You're outside of the box. In Norman, Oklahoma, you're not outside of the box. The mark off back to their 26.
Is that as far as you got? That's how far you got.
I knew my limitations. My speed.
That's trouble taking the flags away from you.
Grab is made by Justin Brown. Good throw by Landry Jones. There he showed some of the pace he could put, because we have seen some beautiful touch passes tonight up at the top by Landry Jones, catching guys making them in a position to succeed. Hitting them in stride.
Well, I think also David Norvell is the wide receiver coach. He does a great job working with these guys, and teaching them the fundamentals of coming back to the football like that.
It'll be third and long, and we haven't said that very often tonight for the Sooners. Jones with time again, and a single on Justin Brown. And couldn't get it up in time, and maybe overthrown a drop. Greg Brown on the coverage.
Brown on Brown. And Landry Jones, one of the few times that he hasn't hit his deep shot tonight.
Well, he looked inside shoulder, and it came outside.
Yeah. Talked to Dave Campbell about Justin Brown before the game. He goes, if they throw a jump ball or fade route to him, I don't know if we have anybody that can defend it.
Take a picture, by the way, of this.
Yes.
Make it last.
First punt.
Make it last.
First punt formation tonight.
Tressway with his first punt of the night. And it's a wobbler. He's cold over on the sideline.
It's been hard to keep that thing warm.
It's grabbed at the 30 as we continue in Norman, Oklahoma. All Sooners homecoming weekend. They celebrate on homecoming weekend, and with good reason. As with 4:43 to play in the third, time for a Coors Light freeze cam, and plenty of moments for the Sooners, especially in the first half, and that was one that we enjoyed. Casey Walker rumbling with that fumble. He felt like he was playing a Mile High Stadium in Denver when he took it down the sideline. A touchdown and a beautiful throw for Shepard. And right now, that has been the only moment for the Jayhawks. Their defense, though, is a different story. We'll get into that. Their offense is on the field right now. Their defense, they've done a good job against the Sooner run. It's Pearson. Speaking of the run, he's pushed back. Colvin there, and then he got help from Harris, the strong safety. It's been tough whether they try to throw it or run it for the Jayhawks against this Sooner defense. It's 14th in the nation. It'll be a little bit better after what they've done tonight. So 2:35. That was the opening game. Florida A&M.
Yep. Well, I think the loss to Kansas State woke everybody up. It humbled them. I think they enjoy putting their helmets on and going out to practice every day. And they'll have a good week getting ready for Notre Dame. First down.
Flag in the right at the line of scrimmage on the completion as it goes to Mundine, the tight end. Sophomore from Denison, Texas.
Holding, number 72 offense, 10-yard penalty, second down.
Left tackle, who's made better than 40 starts for the Jayhawks, Tyler Hawkinson.
No, he's their captain. He's their leader up front, and you know, you're not seeing it tonight, but it's been a good senior-led offensive line. They ran the ball well in the first half against Oklahoma. But it's tough, you know, when the score is what it is up there. And you don't want to look at the clock. You don't want to look at the score. You just want to concentrate on your assignment. But we're seeing fresh bodies on that defensive line, series to series from Oklahoma.
Cummings in there at quarterback. And it looks like it could be another hold on Hawkinson. It's incomplete, trying to get Pearson. But boy, the end on that side, going around the left tackle. It forced an early throw by Cummings.
Well, Bobby Stoops has been here. This is his 14th year. I mean, he's got a program that rivals any program in the country. And so they're just so much further along, recruiting, depth, talent, than what Charlie's trying to do. Charlie's going to try to do what Bill Snyder did the second time around. And the first time around, you know, not far away from where he resides there in Lawrence.
Cummings looking for a screen. Yep. Sims into the secondary. That's her best pass play of the night. A stiff arm and extra yardage as he run up by Javon Harris. So the screen worked.
Well, the backs are, you know, look, this is the one position of depth they have is that running back. And so Sims is just going to come out here. Just a good 3-count screen. You can see the 3 linemen gets out front. Marangelli throws a block on Jefferson. Just enough to make him miss. And James Sims does a good job running away from Javon Harris.
Longest play by far of the night for the Kansas Jayhawks. In fact, down by 52. Pass play worked for 52 on the screen. So 52 yards all the way down to the 26. And the crowd, of course, thinking about one thing, the shutout. Dump off, it works. Man, it's complete to Brandon Bourbon out of Potosi, Missouri.
Well, psychologically, it's huge. It's huge if Charlie and this offense can score. This is still the #1 defense, Oklahoma, on the field. All right, there's still Tony Jefferson out there and Javon Harris and, you know, Aaron Colvin. It's still their starters right now. Tom Ward at middle linebacker. Casey Walker. So right now you can see them.
Can't tell by Bob Stoops.
Mike Stoops isn't happy still.
The other Mike on the sideline, the defensive coordinator. Cummings on the option read, maybe a yard or 2 at the most. Forced out by Tony Jefferson. Now, when Charlie talked about Cummings, he said he's got a gun. He's got a stronger arm than Christ and the other quarterbacks in the program. He said, but believe it or not, because he's 5'10", you think he's fast? He's not as quick as you think.
No, but he still buys time. I think he still gets the perimeter okay. You know, right now they're just trying to protect him. That's why the formations are all tight slots, tight ends, trying to give him as much time as he can.
Middle of the field. Instead goes to the corner and off the fingertips of Mundine.
It was there. That's the right read. Look, I mean, right now Oklahoma's playing pass in this situation, so they got 2 guys back here. He cuts loose. This is, look, it's right on the fingertips.
Yeah, we say 5'10", you can tell.
You can tell just looking by the line.
Yep.
Looks like he's looking up like at their shoulders. It's tough to see over him. You try to find your lanes in between the line.
And that was the difference last week. He tried to throw it over the defensive end on 4th down to keep the game going. It was battered away by the DN. And the back was out there in the flat available. It'll be 3rd down and 8. Time and overshoots Cale Pick. So not close. They want to go to the board. So here comes the place kicker, trying for his first career make. Nick Prolago, a sophomore from Olathe, Kansas.
I agree with this decision right here to kick the field goal. I mean, whether it's 3 points or 7 points, anything but a shutout at this point, I think, for Kansas. You got to go for that.
almost 2 years ago against Iowa State. 2 years to the day, a shutout for the Sooners. Their last one. Prolago. And did he pull it? Yes, he did. It's a hook. So a miss from 30 yards away for Nick Prolago, summing up the night for Charlie Weiss and the Jayhawks.
Well, they're just trying to field the team right now. I mean, it's a good snap. It's a good hole. Laces facing the goal. And Prolago, he just hooked it. Didn't miss by much, but he hooked it. You know, I mean, they were trying Doherty. They were trying Barone. Trying all kinds of different kickers. And that's a tough one for Prolago's first attempt.
Well, they're not going to put a classified ad in the paper, but I remember June Jones last year with SMU. Let it be known.
Not a bad idea.
Right, let it be known that they needed a kicker, and they got a walk-on after the season started, and he turned out to be a pretty good one.
I mean, I'd post a little bit of an ad out there.
Miller. As now, some personnel changes. Landry Jones done. That's his last snap. And Bob Stoops just wanted to get him out there so the crowd could give him the appreciation, the recognition he deserves.
Yeah, you know, I mean, look, if Landry Jones decided to come out last year into the draft, it would have been interesting with all the quarterbacks taken in the first round, if Landry Jones, where he would have gone. I mean, was it after Tannehill? You know, RG3 obviously and Luck were locked up at 1 and 2, but he would have been in that conversation.
Blake Bell, strong arm, but off the fingertips. A tough throw to make out there to Sterling Shepard. So Landry Jones finishes the night 19 of 28 for 291 yards, 3 touchdown tosses, no picks.
Yeah, it was a good, efficient night. The big play was in tonight. You know, the touchdown to Kenny Stills for 44 yards was there. The deep ball was in the offense.
It's 3rd and 5 now as Blake Bell is in there. Sophomore from Wichita's Bishop Carroll High School. And underneath, little shadow cross. And because, he gave up. That's Matuire, Trey Matuire, a true freshman for White House, Texas, with his first catch. He tried to make a big play, and because of it, he lost a yard and gave up the first down.
Well, we had mentioned that Blake Bell is becoming a national phenomenon with scoring 21 touchdowns in that package that's his. But, you know, Bobby Stoops told us, he said, look, we recruit our quarterbacks to throw the ball first, run it second. They like the way Blake Bell can throw it. He just needs more repetitions and more opportunities.
So 2 consecutive possessions, 3 and out with a punt. Tress Way back in there. They went after it. A little bit better than the first one, which was very short. And the roll takes it inside the 25 where the Jayhawks get it back. Opportunity for us for a Mazda game break as we check in with Kevin Frazier and Marcus Allen. Guys.
Joel, one thing Alabama does is they keep on winning. #1 team in the nation rolling, Marcus.
Even though A.J. McCarron wasn't 100%, he was able to make throws like this, Kevin. He was excellent all day.
Hits Kenny Bell for the 39-yard TD. Tie up big, 37-10. They are undisputed kings of the block right now, guys.
All right, so on the road, Neyland Stadium in Knoxville, up by 27, comfortably in front over Tennessee. And Kansas State just dominating that West Virginia. That's the story in the Big 12 tonight. Cummings in trouble and on his way down as he's dragged down, and we talked about going deeper. Rashad Favors making the play. He's a 6'1", 250-pound sophomore from Fort Worth, Dunbar High School. They're deep and they're talented. Charlie, they'll keep coming at you. So it's a loss of 8, and that's going to be the final snap of the third. Pretty much the same as the first 30 minutes of play. We're through 45 now and on homecoming weekend. Sooners doing everything they want thanks to Roy Finch, Justin Brown, and especially quarterback Landry Jones. As we approach the 3-hour mark on this ball game, we get ready for the final 15 minutes of regulation. Bob Stoops and the Sooners, and Bob Stoops pretty close now to overtaking Bud Wilkinson well before the end of the year. And then Barry Switzer, all-time winningest coach in Sooners history. Tony Pearson to the backfield. Along with redshirt freshman Michael Cummings. They wanted a screen that was taken away, and a wise decision to throw at the feet of Tony Pearson. Frank Shannon over there on the coverage for the Heat.
Well, Michael Cummings is dropping back, and he's trying to move this team. I mean, he's looking down the field. There's just not a lot of opportunities to make throws. I mean, they just don't have a burner on the outside that can take the coverage off of the defense, that can get behind Jefferson or Harris. And then if they try to, then the protection breaks down up front against a pretty good pass rushing front four.
After that sack of 18, make it 3rd and 18 on the first down play. Cummings with a wobbler, and it should be, and it will be. Intercepted. Strong safety Javon Harris, and it floated. It got out there, but it was slow in arriving.
That's his 2nd tonight. And you're right, it floated, and he's doing exactly what he's supposed to do. Here he is in center field. I mean, he's reading his keys right now. He sees the post, trying to get behind him. He's just sitting there watching, just reading it, playing deep center field. Really good hang time by Javon Harris to go up there and stay away from the wide receiver. I mean, he had to try to take a shot, but Harris just sitting back there waiting on him.
Second pick of the night, as you mentioned. But the defense is story. Whenever you're pitching a shot, I don't care who you're playing, especially a conference opponent. You're doing a lot of things well.
Yeah. Well, all phases of this defense has been playing well. You know, I talked a lot about the safeties tonight, and they've been excellent. But it's all phases.
Blake Bell in the flat. Brennan Clay. And Clay on the reception.
In fact, last week in that that dominant performance against Texas, everybody got a game. You know, all the starters on offense, all the starters on defense. He couldn't make a declaration that one was better than the other at any position.
Well, if you're looking for a team to latch onto it mid-season that is getting better by the snap, not just the game, it's Oklahoma.
No question. I mean, they got a good pre-seed this year, but obviously the loss here against Kansas State knocked them back, but they'll start climbing. And next week we'll see an awful lot with an undefeated Notre Dame team coming to town.
A little crisscross in the backfield. Clay slowed down and then finally dropped by Tharp.
Well, this Kansas State, I tell you, now the rush defense here tonight, you know, it's been pretty good. They've given up one big run to Damian Williams, but otherwise, Holden Tharp, the whole group, has done a good job of limiting a bunch of good backs from Oklahoma from breaking loose.
Well, there's no question they've responded to a veteran who clearly is getting his message across, Dave Campo, because they gave up 44 a game last year, came in giving up 28 a contest so far this season.
Well, they shut down Joseph Randall last week from Oklahoma State.
It's dropped. And then the late one, LaColton Bester out of Scuba, Mississippi. A little bit late. Fans wanted a flag. They won't get it. That was a 3rd down throw.
That's another transfer from East Mississippi Community College. So Bell put it right where he wanted to, right in between a trap defense. And just dropped it.
It is interesting, though, the transfers are in skill spots.
Yeah.
You're bringing in guys that know what they're doing and can be plugged in immediately. They're growing big here, the linemen, don't they? And they get a lot of reps early.
Well, I was out here on campus early today, Joel, and the barbecue was set up. I mean, the cookers and the smokers, they were going early. So they're being well fed now.
He'll find the end zone. And Kansas will get it back on the touchback. So it's worth staying up for. It's homecoming weekend. She's got an excuse.
Yes, she does.
And the Sooners are shutting out the Jayhawks. Fox College football presented by Academy Sports and Outdoors. Right stuff, low price every day. And by Ford. It's the Built Ford Tough Truck event at your local Ford dealer. Magnificent night for homecoming weekend in Norman, Oklahoma. Tough one for the Jayhawks as the Sooners celebrate with 52 on the board and a lot of time left in the game. It was packed, believe me. Another sellout here at Gaylord Family Stadium in Owen Field. It's at the 20 where it's a first down for the Jayhawks. And it's going to be Sims lugging it across the 30. He must feel stronger holding it on the left side.
Well, some guys, you know, Emmitt Smith always carried the ball in his left hand, never put it in his right. And some guys just get comfortable like that. I know this about James Sims. He doesn't wear down. He gets stronger as the game goes on. He did last week against Oklahoma State. He's having a good game here tonight.
Brought down by Julian Wilson, the guy that Bob Stoops said is going to have a real nice career. Sophomore. Nothing doing up the middle. Maybe 3 after all was said and done as we head downstairs to Jim Knox. Jim.
All right, Joel, you know, we talked about this defense of Oklahoma getting better. How about that offensive line? Keep in mind, before the season started, they lost 2 offensive starters. Right now, James Patton doing a wonderful job with this offensive line. He's still coaching them right now on the sidelines, and this offensive line really gelling at the perfect time.
All right, Jim, thank you. Well, pass protection, they never came close to Landry Jones. Didn't run the ball as effectively as we've seen in the past, especially last week with 343 on the ground. Only 137 so far. Sims short of the first down. Lunging to the 38. By the way, you know, we were talking about Bob Stoops, 3rd all-time and about to become 2nd, passing Bud Wilkinson, most likely before the end of the year. Here's what happened. 11 wins a year on average. His 2nd season here, they won the national championship.
They won it early.
Right. So you spoil them, and the expectations
every year
off the chart.
Yeah. So you lose at home, you lose a home winning record here to Texas Tech last year. You lose in the 3rd game here at home this year against Kansas State, and people just want to say like it's over. But in this year, I think there's going to be a 1-win team that'll compete for a national championship.
Cummings trying to make something happen. The little guy with a couple of nice moves gets out of bounds. Forced out over on the side by Gabe Lynn, the nickel back out of Jenks High School in Tulsa.
You know, in 2006, Oklahoma went to the national championship game with 1 loss. Here's Cummins here, just trying to make something happen. Steps up, feels the rush without looking at it. That's a nice, nifty move. Got eyes looking outside the ear hole there to be able to make that man miss.
Well, there were a lot of teams in the Big 12 that were huge fans of West Virginia tonight.
Sure.
Because had West Virginia beat K-State, and they were really thumped at home, you would have had a 4-way tie with 1-loss teams in the Big 12.
You're right, but that never came close to happening tonight. Kansas State just rolling all over West Virginia.
Early in the 4th, they were up 52-7. It's now 52-14 with 4 minutes left in that game, and that's at West Virginia.
Well, you remember, like, Kansas State came out of nowhere last year and surprised everybody, and knocked off Oklahoma and won all these big games, and they said, no, they can't do it again this year. And here they are, undefeated in the conference, undefeated nationally at number 4 with a chance maybe to climb. Well, who's going to be number 2 this week? Is it going to be Florida? Is it going to be Oregon? Could Kansas State get to that spot?
2nd and 6. Sims will not turn the corner. Denied on the outside by Aaron Franklin. Is there a more disciplined team than Kansas State right now?
I'm going to answer the question before you even ask
I bring it up for the mere fact that after doing this for a dozen years and being in the Big 12 for better than 12 years now, I don't know if I've been around a more disciplined person than Bill Snyder in meetings and talking to when I go to Manhattan.
Now, there's every single move has a purpose behind what he's doing, and it's reflected in such few penalties, and they don't turn the ball over, and the way that they run the ball and the way that they tackle. The fundamentals return to the game.
Cummings got a good grab over the middle. He's got the first down as he goes to Mundine, the tight end. And the guys that worked under him, like Bob Stoops, who we just saw on the sideline, who was an assistant for Bill Snyder, they revere him.
Yeah.
I mean, the respect they have for him.
I think what they saw and what they see from Bill Snyder even today in his 2nd return to Kansas State is just the steadfastness of being consistent day in, day out throughout the game, never getting too high, never beating your chest after a big win like tonight, and just taking it all, just keeping it even keeled throughout the year.
And I want to remind everybody, as we talk about Kansas State, the league leader right now in the Big 12 after a dominating performance tonight, that they are going to be on Fox next Saturday night at home against Seth Dakey, Texas Tech. That team, one of the great developments of the Big 12 this year.
Tommy Tuberville
is doing a phenomenal job.
Well, what he wanted to do in Lubbock was to bring a real SEC mentality, just to be able to run the ball, get away from spread offense and throwing it every down, play tougher defense, and that's showing up right now.
Time for Cummings, and he shows the gun to Trey Parmalee.
That's a good throw. That's a big-time throw. by Cummings in that. He really fired it, got there in a hurry and on the line. Oh, it's a good shot.
You know, he was picked by Javon Harris. We didn't have a second look, but
that's the way to push the ball.
It seemed like he was hit as he was releasing the ball on the one that floated.
Yeah.
So now it's going to be 3rd and short. 3rd and a little more than 3.
Well, it's you know, it's 4 down territory. He's got 2 plays here to pick these 3 yards up.
8.5 and counting. Trying to preserve his shutout. They'll get it. Sims has the first down to the 30. So the last shutout for Oklahoma 2 years ago here in Norman. 2 years almost to the day as Lindley brings down the running back and they shut out Iowa State. Big win for the Cowboys today at home, and they had to have it. And really, and we're going to be there next week in Stillwater. Tough to get a feel, and that was their most convincing and impressive performance against a quality opponent, winning 31-10 today for the Cowboys over Iowa State.
Iowa State's got a good defense, and they gave them a game for the better part of 3 quarters. J.W. Walsh, though, you know, continued to improve. Threw for over 415 yards today.
And they've got 2 different quarterbacks. Lunt, pocket passer. And here's a guy we saw last week at Kansas, and he was okay. He wasn't great. He was fairly efficient, J.W. Walsh. But today, man, you throw for 400 against Iowa State.
Is that a Halloween?
That's a Where's Waldo. That's all that is.
His parent, I hope his mom and dad didn't see that.
2nd and 7. Yeah. Boy, right on the back of Brandon Bourbon.
Coverage is good.
Yeah, good play once again by the Sooners' Eric Stryker.
Well, these are all the backups right now. The backups to the backups are getting some time. And this is how you keep the program going. Get a guy like Stryker, get him some plays right now. Get Paulson in there, Jesse Paulson, senior from Albuquerque, out there playing safety right now. It's tough if the guy in front of you is named Tony Jefferson.
He started back at the Kansas 20. They're looking at a 3rd and 5 from the 25. Got one opportunity to score, and it was a missed 30-yard field goal. Pearson's got the first down. He waited. They washed out that left side, and he waited to cut it back. He's brought down by Stryker again.
Yeah, the reason why he can be patient like this, and it's not easy to do. I mean, everybody wants to rush. The reason why he can let his lines set up all the blocks like that is because he knows he's got a great burst. And if somebody does get close to him, he can step away from him. So his patience is a function, I think, of his explosiveness as he has.
By far the longest drive of the night. This is the 14th play. Kansas on a 1st down inside the 16. Cummings, good deception into the backfield. Didn't get a lot. He dives for about 3 over Lamar Harris, the corner on that side.
Well, he's a competitor. I mean, I like what I see from Michael Cummings. The only thing I'd say, Joel, is, you know, you're not building a lot of franchise around 5'10" quarterbacks. Now, he's heard that his whole life. He's too short, you know. But they told that to Flutie, and they told that to Breeze, and so they always hear it. But if you're going to throw the ball in the angles that you throw it all over the field in college football, then it's a lot easier if you've got better vision down the field.
Pearson over to the left side, short of the first down. So in the future, if Cummings is the focal point, then your launch point, you have to move it around.
Well, you got to move him. You got a bootleg, right? You got to move him, sprint option, those kind of things. You got to make sure that he's protected up front so that he doesn't have somebody right in his face.
He tore his ACL senior season, so did not get a lot of reps his last year in high school. Redshirted last year, so this is basically his first time playing with significant snaps in 2 years.
Yeah, and you know, each week now I think he's getting a little bit better. You know, and he'll have a chance, I think, to take the job away from Dane Chris.
It'll be 3rd and 2. And Sims has a 1st and goal inside the 5, down to the 4. Well, the one consistent aspect of Kansas's season has been their ground game.
Yeah.
Whether it's Pearson, James Sims, and mixing in Taylor Cox or Brandon Bourbon, they have been able to run the football.
Yeah. And so right now you're looking in there, and Sterling is a junior college transfer from Nassau Community College in New York. He's in the game at right tackle. It's starting now for the last couple of weeks.
1st and goal. Sims has to take it inside. Cut him off on the corner. It was Harris over there. and it did a good job for about 3 down to the 1. That's the only thing left to be determined. Kansas get into the end zone, get points on the board as Phillips made the stop. Long time consuming drive that started back at the 20.
Backup lineman David Martin in the game right now, number 73. Love to let Sims finish this longest drive with the evening off here with the run. We're all packed in there. Good goal line drill.
It'll be Sims, hits the wall, falls forward. Did he get in? No more to say. It'll be 3rd and goal inside the 1. The clock continues to run. It looked like a score.
Yeah, looks like he got it for the 2nd effort, right? I mean, he's got his hand up, and he's like, look where I'm at. They're going to review it? Guess not, huh? Sure looked like he fell forward and got the ball onto the white stripe.
So now 3rd and goal. Sims is in. This time they can't deny him. Touchdown Jayhawks, and they avoid the shutout.
It's a small little victory here. We've seen just really good toughness from James Sims throughout the year. I think he's the guy running for his 5th touchdown run of the season right now. Just sticking it behind Martin and Hawkinson, the captain.
Yeah, you saw that group in the corner of the end zone. That is the definition of loyalty. The Jayhawk fans have made the trip here to Norman. Prolago with the extra point. And a teachable moment for Charlie Weiss and the Jayhawks. They're storming, aren't they, on the sideline. We get ready for the final 3 minutes and 11 seconds. And what a setting. Norman, Oklahoma. Time for our Coors Light game summary as the Sooners. How do they have that much energy this late?
Well,
come on. What's going on down there? What's going on down there?
Joel.
You're right.
Yeah. Something about youth.
It's a serious motor.
Yes.
I think they've been around Jim Knox too much.
Well, mirrors and cameras. You get a little excited.
Michael Cummings, valuable experience despite the numbers. Just the speed of the game, the reps, the reads, as they keep it on the ground. Picked up by Finch, who's already returned 100 yards. That time, driven down at about the 28. So as we saw earlier, you don't have to look very far for the guy in the red and white stripes. He's right here in Norman. Brown, hand center. Great hands, special teams. Justin Brown. How about 90 yards on this return?
Well, he makes a great cut there.
1 lineman down.
And now
2 linemen down.
He's going to go to the other side of the field and finish it. And then Roy Finch here is going to take 100 yards. And for the first time in the illustrious Oklahoma history, somebody has taken back a punt return, a kickoff return, same game for touchdown.
Brennan Clay carries it up to the 34-yard line. So, I mean, as many games as I've been here in a long time, I've seen some wild ones. First time ever in Sooner history.
A little bit of history.
A punt and a kick in the same game. That was some early demolition. If you joined us later, it was 38-0 at the half.
We got a little bit of the
Blake Bell.
Blake Bell and the Belldozer package in earlier. Now playing full-time quarterback here for Landry Jones. He won his 34th start of his career.
Just trying to run the clock out. They'll have a 3rd down and about 3. Michael Reynolds, sophomore from Wichita, in on that hit. Well, coming up, and you talked about this game after such an emotional one. Texas Tech the week before. This game at home, and then next week at home against undefeated Notre Dame.
Well, it sets up. I mean, it sets up as the national really game of the week. I mean, all the attention is going to be, can Notre Dame keep this going? Great, tough, grinded out win against BYU today. Oklahoma has had their way now 3 weeks in a row against Texas Tech, Texas here, and now Kansas. So they're feeling pretty good about themselves.
Bell throwing for first down, and it's knocked away from Duron Neal, his true freshman wide receiver out of DeSmet High School in St. Louis. There's McDonald over there helping out, Anthony McDonald. So, and you and I were talking about it earlier, BYU's defense, one of the best in the nation.
Yeah,
so that was something for Notre Dame to come back and get it done.
Yeah, they grinded it out. Now, can they score with what Landry Jones and the arsenal that he has around him, the way Oklahoma has been able to score here, and really get contributions the way they have from the special teams? And I think that's going to be a big part of it, is field position next week. And can the special teams influence the game like tonight they has?
McDougal waiting for it, and a good one by Tress Way, putting him on the boundaries. He's knocked out of bounds at about the 25. So two schools that have a ton of tradition when it comes to football don't get together too often.
No.
And that's next Saturday here in Norman. And boy, is that going to be a wild weekend in Oklahoma. It's late for most people. Early, obviously, for these guys, as we welcome you back to Norman. We were talking about it right before we broke away. The matchup next week, and will the Irish be able to, well, do they have enough team speed overall against Oklahoma?
Well, we know that defensively they've been very good, and the guys there on the screen have had a great season, but this will be their best test. I mean, I know Notre Dame's had a tough schedule, but this by far is going to be the most speed that they've had to defend all year. And the atmosphere will be electric.
Kansas gets it back one final time. And battling is Taylor Cox, the junior from Mill Creek, Washington, for about 7 or 8 yards. Let's check in with Jim Knox. Jim?
Yeah, how big is this game, Joel and Brian? Well, before the game, they were actually selling tickets in the tailgate area for next week's Notre Dame game against Oklahoma. Just the cheap seats. We're talking end zone seats that are going for $400. Primo seats, get a hold of this. How about $4,000? That's what they're saying.
And that's an early price, Jim.
Yeah.
Wait till it gets later in the week as it keeps moving north.
They may set an attendance record. I mean, they can squeeze 85,000 in here, and they may set some kind of record.
So the final 45 seconds, a third down coming up. And 3 straight impressive games. And we knew going in it was going to be tough for Kansas to track and keep up with Oklahoma. But what they've done and the way they're building from Texas Tech into Texas, and now with no letdown at all. Now, under Bob Stoops, the week after Texas, they're 14-0, so they don't have letdowns. All right, Whataburger, what a player. Efficient night for Landry Jones.
Well, we talked about him, you know, the winningest quarterback in Oklahoma history, and secures his 34th win here as a starting quarterback at Oklahoma, and I thought he was terrific. Took care of the football, got the deep throws, ran the offense. What an advantage. I mean, Charlie Weiss wishes one day he'll have a guy with that kind of experience running his offense in Lawrence, Kansas.
So Landry Jones now 34-9 as a starter. As we head back downstairs to Jim Knox. Jim?
All right, thank you, Joel. Coach, congratulations. You said at half you really weren't pleased, I guess, stopping the run. You have to be pleased right now. It looked like total domination both sides of the football.
Well, I was pleased overall, of course. You know, when you got a team shut out and you're putting up 38 or whatever we had at half. And guys executed great, really. Landry was sensational throwing the ball. All our return units, you know, were huge. And defense, you know, the first group, again, throws a shutout and plays great.
What is it about this defense that seemed to really have caught on the last couple of games? Against Texas Tech, played exceptional. Against Texas last week and again tonight.
Well, we're tackling well. We're where we should be. We're not breaking down mentally whatsoever. We're playing sharp. And so today was another one of those days.
And you're talking about playing sharp. I believe only 1 penalty tonight, and then Landry Jones, 3 touchdown passes, no turnovers.
He's special, and he had a fabulous night tonight, throwing the ball great. And all those deep balls aren't easy to throw. He put them right where they needed to be. So he had a special night, and he's had a bunch of those.
The old cliche, you're taking it one game at a time. Next week, Notre Dame. What do you think this atmosphere will be like here?
I think it'll be pretty special. It's one of probably the most anticipated games since 2000 when Nebraska came in here, 1 in the country, and we were 2 in the country. So I imagine it's going to be pretty electric.
I appreciate it, Coach. Congratulations again. Joel?
Yeah, you can tell. Bob's looking forward to it as well when he talks about the Nebraska game back in 2001.
He's already got the comparison in mind.
Yeah, Kenny Stills, he's ready. And Landry Jones. Boy, I feel for these guys. They go from Sam Bradford to Landry Jones. Tough around here in Norman, isn't it? We'll be back for the final word in just a moment. Well, as Jim Knox said earlier, they need to rotate the wheels on that schooner because it was moved around so much tonight with 52 on the board. So many touchdowns for the Oklahoma Sooners. So 52-7 is our final. And we head back downstairs to Jim Knox. Jim?
Yeah, exactly right, Joel. Landry Jones, one of the reasons why that Sooner schooner was getting a workout tonight. 3 touchdown tosses, most importantly, no turnovers. And it looked like you were really using the field well, spreading it around to just about every wide receiver.
Yeah, played really well tonight. You know, just it's a blessing to come out here and play in front of this great crowd of people. And God just really allowed me to do a lot of things around this place. And it's just one more game that I get to come out here and play for His glory, you know, and tonight we kind of put it together and played really well.
It seems like, Landry, this offense has been slowly but surely putting it together after the game. The loss against Kansas State, all of a sudden you guys start clicking at Texas Tech. Why is that?
People are just cutting it loose and playing. I know, especially for me, I'm not thinking anymore, just seeing my reads and going through them and really just playing ball and cutting it loose and having some fun now.
Next week, this place is going to be all in uproar because Notre Dame comes to town, undefeated Notre Dame. Your thoughts on going against this undefeated Irish team with a great defense coming into Norman?
Yeah, going to be a huge challenge. Always going to be a fun game against Notre Dame. Really been looking forward to this one, so it's just one more thing that you get to do as an Oklahoma Sooner, and so we're looking forward to that game.
There you go. Congratulations, Landry, on the good night. Joel?
Is he always that mellow? I mean it.
He's in control.
You said it.
But, you know, that's the poise. I mean, this is 44 starts now. I mean, it's coming. It's winding down. 4 years of winding down. It goes fast. I remember when he took over for Sam Bradford on that night. And so it's coming down. So each one of these moments, homecoming weekend, taking a picture with the band, Notre Dame coming to town, the whole nation will be watching. I mean, he's just going to embrace every single moment that he gets to put that Sooner uniform on.
Well, to me, we just saw that shot. Those are the guys that don't get enough credit.
True.
They're not appreciated enough, and that is the band.
Well,
you know how I feel about the band.
You love the band, Joel.
I do. I stick around in the booth for halftime.
You could have just struck it up just once.
Well,
that's a winner.
Yeah.
That guy is a winner, though.
Yeah, I liked his poise that you talked about, the confidence in talking to Jim Knox, and then jumping in with the band. The shot at the end,
well,
and he'll never forget his senior season.
But he remembers being a little kid like that too, you know, and being a fan, growing up in a little small town in New Mexico. And who would have thought when he was that age that one day he'd be leading one of the premier programs in the country?
Nice story.
Yep.
Very nice story. That'll do it from Norman, Oklahoma. Once again, our final score, 52-7. Look at the triple header we've got for you next week. It all starts at noon Eastern. Texas, Kansas, followed by TCU and Oklahoma State. A good matchup in Stillwater. We'll be at that one. And wrapping it up, it is going to be Texas, or Baylor rather, and Iowa State. Oh, my back hurts watching that last shot. For Brian Baldinger, Jim Knox, our entire Fox crew, I'm Joel Myers. Thanks for joining us in Norman. You've been watching Fox College Football on the Fox Sports Networks. And as I mentioned, great triple header next week, and hopefully you'll be able to be with us for all of those matchups. So long, everybody, from Norman, Oklahoma, and what a homecoming it was for the Sooners. Opposite end of the spectrum, of course, for the Jayhawks. Have a great weekend.